It's time for Shawn and Maya in the morning.
Quick pitch to Walter, looking for the record, cuts back, he's got it, he's out of it at 25 to the 26-yard line. Walter Payton becomes the National Football League all-time leading rusher. Jordan, open, Chicago with the lead. The Chicago Bulls have won their 6th NBA championship. Chicago has won the Stanley Cup. Carmel over the head of Jenks. Uribe charges, throws, out! And the White Sox have won the World Series. A little bouncer slowly toward Bryant. He will glove it, throw to Rizzo. It's in time. And the Chicago Cubs win the World Series.
What up? What up? Welcome to Shawn and Maya in the morning on this Hump Day edition. Guys, I'm your boy, the Superback Shawn Sierra, and man, let me tell you something. I am pumped. I had a phenomenal workout today at CrossFit, and I'll tell you what, I am fired the freak up. Guys, listen, thanks for tuning in. Now, if you're watching this on Facebook Live, well, then I guess you found us on Facebook. Now, if you're watching this on the app, bravo. Thank you. Make sure you download the app. If you haven't downloaded the app, please download the app, SportsZone Chicago. It's a free app for you. You can get it on Google Play, iTunes, or Amazon, wherever you get your apps from. Make sure you download it. You can watch us on the app. You can listen to us on the app. We're an app-centric station, so make sure you do that. Listen, guys, I'm so fired up about today that let me tell you something. This is gonna be one of our best shows. We have a couple of guests on that are gonna be pretty awesome, especially the last few. Well, listen. We want you to get interactive with us today, all right? So do me a favor. Text. So if you watch this on Facebook Live or the app, what I need you to do is just text. Text your comment or question right there. If you're watching on the app, you can text us right from the app, and it'll come right up, and Ivan will put it right on our screen. And if you're watching us on Facebook Live, text us right there, and guess what? Ivan will get it, and he'll put it right up on the screen. But I would be remiss if I didn't announce her. She is my co-host, the co-pilot in this insanity, the one, the only, a.k.a. Lil Savage, Maya Kai. What up, Maya?
Funny, unknowingly. Good morning, everybody. Happy Hump Day. I swear to God, this has been some of the best weather ever. I am just blissful with how nice it is outside most of the time. But we got a lot to talk about. I mean, the bubble is working. The non-bubble is not working. And I'm just all fired up about the White Sox, and I'm upset if this MLB season, Shawn, doesn't go for the distance, because I'm like, you done got me all in my feelings about this now. So I really need for this season to play out. So we got a lot to talk about. Hawks, Bears, NFL season might have a question mark next to it because of opt-outs. So I know we got some people on to talk about this stuff, but of course you can follow me. I'm user friendly. So right there on the screen at the Sports Chica, Facebook and Twitter, Maya_Kai IG. That's how you can find me on social media. I like to make it easy for my folks.
Nice and easy. Yo, nice and easy.
Easy does it. Easy.
Slow down.
Oh man.
Well, we would be remiss if we didn't say what's up to the man behind the curtain. He is the whiz for us. He is our Puerto Rican Swiss Army knife himself, Ivan Vargas. Ivan, what's up, Papa? How are you?
What's up, guys? Good morning. I'm a little busy.
Oh, you rocking that shirt? You rocking that
shirt? You know I got to. No, just a little busy right now. But I'll catch you guys in a second.
All right, he's doing stuff. Okay.
Yes, he's working. He's working. Hey. You don't get paid the big bucks for nothing.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. That's kind of funny. Anyways, all right.
Well, listen, guys, we got a great show. As I told you, I need you to get interactive. Make sure you type your question or comment either right there on the Facebook page if you're watching this on Facebook, or right there on the app if you're able to watch it from the app. And if you're just listening from the app, that's fine too. Just listen, and we're appreciative that you're listening to us on the app. Well, listen, when I said we got a great show for you, I was not bull jobbing. Well, you know how we do the first segment. We got our guy Joseph Joseph Phillips from the Crusader, he's coming on. But at 10 o'clock, woo, we're going to start early. John Dietz, our guy for the Daily Herald. We're going to talk a little NHL. Blackhawks. Ooh, man, you talked about it, Maya. Man, they got off to a slow start again. And today's game 3. Today's a rubber match. Whoever gets this one is.
No, I'm going to tell you something. We talked about this last time John was on the show. That if there was a game the Blackhawks could steal, it was going to be that first game coming into the series, because we already know that the Oilers aren't no joke. And if you don't know who McDavid is, you know who he is after the last game.
Oh, you mean the hat trick?
Yeah, just in case you didn't know, they were so excited about him. There's nobody in the arena, but I think it was maybe like his marketing or PR person ran down to the ice to throw hats over the top.
That was awesome.
I was like, there you go.
It was against my Blackhawks. It was for the Oilers, but that was freaking awesome. They had a lot of people come down and throw hats. That was awesome.
She's like, you will tip your hat to this hat trick. So if you didn't know who McDavid is, you knew who he was after that game. Just FYI.
Yeah, Connor McDavid's no punk. So John Dietz is calling at 10 o'clock, and we're going to get started with him early at 10:30. Robert Schmitz from Windy City Gridiron is going to call in. We're going to talk a little Bears. Man, it's the season, like you mentioned, Maya. Is this season going to get off? There's a lot of people who are opting out, and the deadline to opt out has been moved up to. We're going to talk about that in the top of the morning segments in a few minutes. So there's a lot of stuff to talk about in this NFL and hopefully NFL season.
Shawn, I don't know. The thing is, can the season happen? Yes. The NFL is not going to necessarily close down because players opt out, but what probably will be affected will be the qualities of the games that you're watching. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be it, like the quality of the games. If you're losing key players, that changes a big dynamic, obviously for teams. So I don't know. I guess we'll talk to Robert and see what he thinks about it.
And I said Robert Schmitz from Windy City Gridiron calling in at 10:30. Then 11 o'clock, we're going to go into some prep sports. We got two of the best Chicago Catholic League coaches in the business right now. My former teammate at my alma mater, Todd Kuska from St. Rita High School, state-winning championship coach, and Jordan Lynch from our arch rival, our nemesis, Mount Carmel. He's a state-winning championship coach as well. They're going to join us at 11 o'clock, and we're going to talk about the impact of the football season being pushed to the spring. This is a very big issue for high school kids. There's a lot of kids who play multiple sports, which I encourage kids to do. But how is it going to affect recruiting? The Ivy League has already decided to move their season to the spring. We're talking about in the top of the morning segment, if we can get to it, when UConn decided to cancel their season already. So how is it going to affect these guys and especially certain types of players? Okay, maybe two-sport players. Maybe a guy is good in football, but he's great in track. And now he's not going to have it. So what sport is he going to play? You know what I mean? There's a lot of questions that we're going to ask these guys and how they're going to do it and what they're doing as far as conditioning, how they're going to keep their guys conditioned. We're going to open up Pandora's box. So Todd Kuska from St. Rita High School, the head football coach there, and Jordan Lynch, the head football coach at Mount Carmel High School, will be joining us at 11 o'clock. Whew, that is one heck of a lineup for today. Well,
yes, it is.
Guys, you know how we do the first segment of every show. It's called Top of the Morning to you, and these are the hot topics of the night before or just some sports in general. And boy, oh boy, do we have some doozies. But first, we got to bring on our guy because the Top of the Morning segment is powered by the Chicago Crusader. We want to bring our man in himself, the one, the only, back from the Tennessee Smoky Mountains, Joseph Phillips. Joseph, what's up, Papa?
God bless you guys. Good morning. How are you today?
I'm good. I'll take all the blessings I can get, bro. I can get.
Okay, cool.
Joseph, I have a question. So since you're back there, and I've been looking at your Peloton every time you come on. So I'm hoping before you come on shows, you subscribe to the Peloton, don't be mediocre. So I'm assuming before you get on the show, you're up there pedaling it up and getting it together so you can come on, not mediocre for the show, but amazing.
Hey, I thank God for having a beautiful wife. She's all the motivation I need right now. She's the
all right. You're trying to tell me you're not using the Peloton. Okay, I'm gonna leave that alone right there.
No.
No.
I'll just say that. Just thank God for my wife. That's all I can say.
Okay, all right.
Keep it going, brother. Keep it going. You can never get too many cool points with the missus, bro. Never. Ever. Too many cool points.
No comments on that Peloton right there. No comments.
No comments. Okay. No comments.
Oh, well, listen, let's get to the first top of the morning segment. Hey, we'll make you happy, Joseph, Joe, G, Philip, JG, JG3. We're going to make you happy. The Cubs smacked the Royals 5-4 yesterday. And you know what? I'll tell you what. It was another good performance from Kyle Hendricks coming back from his second start, which was a little bumpy. His first start was, man, off the chain. Mm-hmm. But his second start, man, he looked I'm sorry. His first start, he looked great. His second start, he was bumpy. And yesterday he had I'll tell you what, he had a nice game. I was very happy with Kyle Hendricks. That's the Kyle Hendricks we know and love. That's the Kyle Hendricks that we expect to see. He was he got the win, 7 innings pitched, 7 hits, 2 runs, both earned, 3 Ks, no walks. He went to work. He just he did what he does, and that's just take the ball and pound the strike zone. I shouldn't even say pound because he doesn't throw it fast enough. He finesses around the strike zone, kind of like Bulldog.
He's very Greg Maddux-like.
Very Bulldogish, yep.
His stuff is very exact. He's pinpoint. He's a Rembrandt when it comes to how he pitches. You're right. He's not going to necessarily
call Mario Rembrandt. That's a great call.
Well, that's a call when pitchers can paint the paint, like not just about speed, but their pitch location is just pristine. It's almost artistic like. It's called Rembrandt. You didn't know that?
Yeah, but I didn't know that you knew that. That's why I was like, that's why I love it.
You didn't know that I knew that, the baseball. Okay.
Maya, there's so much about you that I don't know. Because you have so much knowledge in there. I don't know how much you know. It's crazy.
So much in there. Yeah.
So much. I don't know how you walk or you're sitting on top over.
Tapping over? No. All right. So your thoughts, Joseph. Cubs. And by the way, thank you. We can appreciate when you deal some losses to a division rival, as we're trying to return the favor in the series we're in right now with the Brewers.
Well, first of all, I just want to say thank you guys for taking care of business back-to-back days. Actually, last night was a nice comeback because I was looking at the score. You guys were down 2-0. Now, said I know eventually they're gonna come through that lineup. And then here we go, Jose Abreu in the 7th inning, big hit, putting the Sox up, break the tie, and the rest was history. And then in addition to that, I was watching the Cubs game and watching Cal Hendricks pretty much, contain the Kansas City Royals lineup, because it seems like if you give them confidence, they'll start a rally just like they did last night in the top of the 9th inning. So we got off with that one. We got a break with that one. But like you guys were saying, when it comes to Cal Hendricks, he's like he's painting the Rembrandt. But I take it a little bit more hood. It's almost like, when you get those coloring books growing up, you got 2 type of people that color inside the lines and people that color outside the lines. So he's that guy that color inside the lines and makes everything look nice. So at the end of the day, he's Mr. Consistent, the professor. And now he's currently 2-1 on the season.
Yes, he is.
We got a commenter. Jaime Polito says, hey, I like that, like a Rembrandt. Sure, Hendricks would love that too.
I'm sure. Look, hey, it's the professor. I mean, there's no doubt about it. He is the ace on the Cubs staff.
Yep.
And to me, when I say that, and when I make that statement about him, it isn't because it's not because there's nobody else that I can say that legitimately Hendrick is an ace to me. And I feel like no matter what club you popped him on, he just has that kind of stuff, So, like you said, the first game, obviously he was the opening starter. Okay, lights out. Second game, not exactly like what you'd want to see, but it didn't matter. It still equated to a win. And I think you're going to see a little bit of that kind of inconsistency, initially within the first couple of weeks because there was no real spring training. So they're kind of still working out the kinks. But to me, he doesn't have that many to work out, so to speak. Looked good.
No, he looked really good. So moving on, the next top of the morning topics are White Sox. You know it, baby. Look at me. I'm representing. The White Sox they laid the smackdown on the Brewers yesterday. Okay, it wasn't a smackdown, but they came back, beat the Brewers 3-2 yesterday. I'll tell you what, Lucas Giolito looked good again. He had a horrible first start, but the last two games, he got his first win yesterday. He didn't get to win his second start, although he did pitch 6 scoreless innings, but he was at a pitcher's duel. Because the pitcher he was going up against, he went 8 scoreless innings, and we got to the reliever. So this is 2 great starts for Lucas Giolito. 6 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs, both earned, 3 walks, 9. Your son's been absent from school 9 times, Mrs. Bueller. 9 strikeouts for Lucas Giolito. And you know what? That's the kind of guy that we need at the top of the rotation. And if he can continue, you give me 3 or 4 games and a bad one, 3 or 4 games and a bad one, 3 or 4 games and a bad one, I'm good with that. I'm good with that, especially for Lucas Giolito. Hell, it could be 5 or 6 or 7 and then a bad one, and that'll be even better. But you know what? You start being a little more consistent, like he has been the last 2 games, and we can rock with him. Hey, we can rock with him, and I feel a lot more comfortable with him when he's throwing like this.
I agree. This is the kind of performance that I need to see from Giolito consistently. Because we do know that he'll give you these brilliant starts, and then all of a sudden you'll get a couple starts that are not obviously up to the level where they need to be for someone who's considered to be an ace. And not to mention, unfortunately, the Sox right now are kind of getting dealt some injuries here and there, and things are going to have to. So their starting rotation, as you're looking at, obviously with Giolito, with Keuchel, Cease. I'm not big on Gio Gonzalez. I feel like he's going to give me an ulcer in this real short season. There's always got to be somebody on the squad that just doesn't work for me.
Why they call it a little savage?
Gio is that dude that I'm like, can we start looking around for somebody else?
Right.
Because I don't feel that when you talk about in the stretch, I know we said we needed veteran pitchers. I just don't feel like he's going to be able to cut the mustard, so to speak. Right now, I feel like that. So,
well, when it comes to the Sox, like I said, you guys are very impressive. I noticed 3 things. I said first, the first thing I noticed with what you guys have done, that's back-to-back sweeps. So that's an amazing feat right there. And then 2, you guys are on a 6-game winning streak. And then 3, Luis Robert is leading the American League in WAR. So he's like that next
real deal.
What is it good for? A playoff run.
That's right. So
opposed to absolutely nothing. No. WAR. What is it good for? Really.
That's right. So your future is looking very bright on the South Side. And like I said, right now, y'all, you guys have been dominating in all aspects of the game. Only thing y'all fighting against right now is the injury bug. I know last night y'all lost a few players and everything. But other than that, I think you guys have enough depth to overcome those injuries. As long as they aren't long-term, then they're short-term. And then in addition to that, I think Rick Renteria got the message. Only thing he has to do is just manage the personalities on the team. Don't try to get too cute. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So as you can see, since the last time you guys made that announcement about how he should use certain players in the lineup, I think he's starting to take note of that, and you can see the results in the standings.
You know what, Lucas Giolito, second time or the third again, he was with Yasmani Grandal behind the plate, and so apparently the chemistry that they had, or that they were trying to forge in the offseason, is coming to pass, and that's a good thing. Because now when you have a guy like Lucas Giolito, who we're looking at as our ace, and he's compatible and comfortable with both catchers, that's a phenomenal thing. That is a phenomenal thing in case one gets hurt. And now there's no problem with him and Grandal, or him and McCann. Either way, this guy is comfortable on the mound with whoever's behind the plate and throwing them fingers down. Because Lucas likes to say, like when those catchers throw it down, he doesn't shake them off. It's like, well, you want me to throw this? I got you. So that comfort level and that security, that line of security blanket, of that he's developing with Grandal is really good to see, because we know he already has it with McCann.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now he's getting it with Grandal, their shiny new toy, their offseason for acquisition. That's a great thing for the White Sox.
Also, that's something the Cubs really didn't have. During that 2016 run, we had to make sure that when John Lester pitched, that David Ross was behind the plate. And if that would have changed, it would have messed up the rhythm. But with the White Sox, you guys are overcoming that challenge already, getting chemistry with your new shiny toy, as you say. And you're still able to win and produce and doing it in dominant fashion, which adds more respect to the potential of this lineup. And like I said, the sky's the limit. We really don't know the damage that this lineup can do, especially with Luis Robert leading off, and then the rest is history. And in addition to that, not having like a Tim Anderson in the lineup, as I was requesting earlier this week, But I see you guys don't need them because y'all still putting up numbers, the crooked numbers. So that's all that really matters.
You know, one of the things that we talked about, I want to say with Bob Nightingale when he was on, was like one thing that's good to know is that we at least have some pitching depth. I'm very disappointed that Rodon, unfortunately, has come to this place again. And one of the things that I had mentioned is there comes a point of time when you have to move forward. I was the one who said perhaps he should be a middle reliever in the bullpen. And my thing is, if you can't stay healthy in this duration, I mean, he had a lot of time to not pitch and to heal, so to speak. So unfortunately, I mean, he just doesn't have good bones. He just doesn't. And, you know, I don't feel that at this point, the Sox can hold themselves hostage to hoping that he can be the pitcher they want him to be, because he's shown that he just can't stay healthy. So now you get to kind of pull in those other pieces. I'm getting this feeling I'm going to see some more of Dane Dunning. I feel like that's going to happen. And the one part I saw him in his outing, I felt like he has the constitution to be on the mound. And I like that. Like, you know, in that big league moment, his first big league moment, he didn't kind of fold. He looked comfortable. So now is when you kind of start. And the Sox bullpen, by the way, looks pretty decent.
Yes, it does.
They've kind of gone the course and managed. You know, Colin May and others have really kind of stepped up and pitched well. So especially last night, I thought they did exceptionally well when it was kind of like on the fence a bit. So at least I can say
that's a first place team, Maya. That's the Milwaukee Brewers won the Central, the NL Central. That's a good ass team that they played. It wasn't the Kansas City Royals or the Florida Marlins. This is a championship contending team that Alex Colomé shut down. You saw how they were able to get to him in the ninth, and he's still able to close the door. They had runners on first and third with 2 outs. He was still able to close the door.
Right.
That leads me, you know, it's better. Yeah, he can shut out Kansas City or stop them. Okay, that's great. But I need to see it against a team that is legit.
Exactly.
And Milwaukee is legit.
And this is why this series really, to me, had a lot more meaning than against Kansas City. Not that I'm trying to like look down my nose at Kansas City, but we know they have their struggles right now. They're not a good team. So the expectation is that, okay, the Sox should have been able to sweep or win the series, so to speak. I was more interested in how they were going to look against the Brewers, a team that is a contender, a team with the hitters like of, you know, Christian Yelich and so on. That's what I wanted to see to begin to truly say, I'm not measuring how good I think you are against the Royals. I'm looking at how you're going to play against the Clevelands, the Cubs, the Brewers, those teams that are first place teams that you have a matchup in this shortened season. And thus far, against the Brewers, if they happen to sweep them, I'll be like, okay, now I'm really truly impressed where I think that we are. Shut up. You shaking your head, Ivan. I'm doing you a favor.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, yes.
But don't worry, you're also this is do me a favor week. So
right.
the Cubs are giving it to the Royals, and they should, and that bodes well for the Sox as well, obviously. But I have to say, these wins against the Brewers do a lot more for you right now than wins against the Royals do against us. Now, when you face up, let's say, I don't know that Detroit or Cleveland is on the Cubs schedule. I can't recall.
Yes, it is.
They are. I just don't remember when.
Here's what I would ask you in this exchange. When you face up against the Twins, that's when I'm going to need you to deal back what I gave to you this week. That's
right.
Exactly.
No, I like this. I like what Shawn said about going up against a championship contending team, because you saw. I mean, they did that against Minnesota to start, and it was like, ugh, like what the hell's going on? And then you saw a couple games with Cleveland, and you're like, ugh, what's going on? But then you see in this series with I mean, granted the Brewers bullpen I think is a little depleted, but that lineup is still good, even without Lorenzo Cain. That lineup is still lethal.
And Grandal.
Right, and without Grandal or Lorenzo Cain, but it's still a good lineup. Just to see that they rebounded and they went ahead and attacked a heavy lineup, it looks good for you guys. I mean, it bodes well for you guys to start in the future, because it's like at first I didn't think they had any confidence in those first two series. It looked like the pitching staff didn't have any confidence in those first two series, and then all of a sudden it's just like. Now you see them having fun. I think it just happens to do with their hitting. It happens to do with the team staying together. I think they were just kind of tight, and now they're having a little more fun. They're on the 6 consecutive.
6 in a row, yeah.
They're on a roll. So it's like, you know, the more the season progresses, the more they loosen up. They're all young. You got to remember, they're all young.
That the season actually does progress.
Right, especially right. Especially in the bullpen and in the pitching staff, they're young. All these guys are just coming. These are their prove it. Hey, this is your time to shine type of years, and you know you can expect some growing pains. We talked about this being 15 and not 16 like when it comes to comparing them to the Cubs.
Yeah, so it's a good thing. Joseph, what are your thoughts?
Well, like I said, when it comes to just what I'm saying with just both teams, we are going to need each other at the end of the day. And I know Maya's like, you guys are going to need us to beat the Twins in the future. And we appreciate you guys are beating the Brewers now. And like I said, I think we're both peaking at the right time, both teams. Cubs are taking care of their business on one end, and then the White Sox are taking care of their business on the other. And this is putting us both in position, like we were talking about earlier in the season, of that future red line
series. Yes.
I'm still look, okay. Now this one I always have to be the voice of reason. There always has to be a woman that steps into the conversation and said, "Fellas, let me bring you back into this." There is still. I know we're not in a bubble, which means we're losing sight of the fact that there are other teams that are playing really good baseball right now. I'm going to tell you this: we're not going to get to sleep on the Yankees. I'm going to be honest. I'm just going to own that. They're playing at a very high level. Giancarlo is back. I mean, he just, Matt and I've had the season, that you wanted him to have last year, so to speak. Aaron Judge, okay, so it's like baby beast. So there's too many things right now when we talk about New York that we can't start to discredit it. Now, I know they say things like put it into the universe and see if it comes back. It's a nice thought, but here's my thing. Let's just be realistic. If there's two teams in this city, FYI, I got to throw this at you. Last night we debuted a new show called Sports 101 with Jamar Harp, who is like our resident sports history, a guru. And he was talking about the origins of the Negro League in Chicago. But the joke came out where, the Cubs' original name, like in 1870 or something, was the Chicago White Stockings. And I said, did that come with a pair of heels too? Is that why they changed their name? Just had to give it to you that, what's funny is if the Cubs had probably beat the White Sox to that name, that would probably be your name and not the Cubs. I want you to know that. Because I would have changed my name from White Stockings too.
Don't you wish that evil on us?
Can I say something?
Don't you wish that evil on us, Ricky Bobby?
Excuse me. Can I say something to the lady up top?
I feel like we're the Brady Bunch.
It's like the Brady Bunch.
That's awesome. That's a great reference.
My beautiful sister Maya. Okay. So I always had this scenario about the Cubs being named the White Stockings. I tell people we were the original White Sox. Okay. All right. We were the original White Sox. And you guys actually stole from us. Okay. We're the original franchise in the city of Chicago. We're the professional flagship team of the city of Chicago.
Still trying to have
nobody can touch that, okay?
No, Joseph.
There'll always be animosity and hate toward us.
Oh no, it's a rivalry that goes back to 1870. But here's my thing. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna let you have this. You guys deliberately chose the name White Stockings because you thought stockings are very, they're very like upper echelon, and they're, because you were trying to be special. Even back then, when it was still like, probably just a flat landmass, they thought that area up there was special, so to speak.
There was still some British influence there.
So they thought Wrigleyville existed in their minds well before it came along. So they were White Stockings because they were affluent. Well, stockings, yeah, okay. You see what's in that name?
A lot of wear stockings right next door.
Right.
That's okay.
So now my running joke is going to be the the Chicago White Stockings, aka Cubs, from here on out.
That's right.
I can't let that die. It's just.
So the question is always going to be: you need heels with that?
Oh man, we the original.
I love it. You need heels.
9-2. 9-2. I'm just going to go there now. 9-2.
Hey, you know what? I'll tell you what. And congratulations to you guys. I'm happy for you guys, and you guys are doing well. Yes. So I'm not gonna throw any hate. I mean, not to you, Ivan, because you make the show run really well. My other Cub fan friends, they're gonna get the brunt of my. Actually, I can't even give them any static because they're 9-2. They're 9-2, and they're beating the teams in our division. So that's it.
I'm gonna let it go. I mean, I just had to poke a little fun at it because I didn't realize that their name was.
You wear red
Chicago White Stockings.
You wear red heels with white stockings, or do you?
Or were they blue? Were they blue heels? I mean, what were they?
I'd rather be a stocking than a smelly sock, though.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm a woman.
like that, Joseph.
When it comes to sports, I'd much rather be a
Yeah,
smelly.
yeah. We covered that job.
There you go. I couldn't think of anything, but you did it for us.
Well, listen, we got to take a quick break. That first break of the show. So on the other side of the break, we have more top of the morning topics. So don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago.
BoomerNaturals.com presents the Sports Flash on 1330 and 95.9 The Zone.
Deep fly ball to left. This ball's got a chance. Long gone. Tape measure time for Wilson Contreras. Halfway up the bleachers in left center. His second of the year, and the Cubs now lead by a score of 5-2.
Cubs radio with the call. Wilson Contreras with the blast. 5-4, the win over the Royals. The White Sox beat Milwaukee 3-2. Lucas Giolito, 9 strikeouts over 6 innings. He gave up 2 runs on 4 hits. Jose Abreu singled home the winning run in the 7th. NHL qualifying round action continues tonight. The Blackhawks take on the Oilers. The series tied at 1 game apiece in the best of 5. It's a 9:30 Central puck drop on NBCSN. Boomer Naturals, your source for 3-layer protective face masks. Breathable protection for adults and kids. Save 20% with promo code SPORTS at BoomerNaturals.com. Chuck Sanders, that's the Sports Flash, 1330 95.9 The Zone.
O'Reilly Auto Parts can help make your auto maintenance easier. So when your car isn't stopping like it used to, our professional parts people will help you find the brake parts and supplies to do the job right the first time. Right now, get 15% off a set of brake vest pads and 2 rotors, plus O'Reilly Brake Cleaner, 2 for $5. Stop by or visit O'ReillyAuto.com today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Have you wanted to speak a new language, but thought it would be too difficult? Then try Babbel. Babbel starts by teaching you words and phrases that gradually get more complex. Soon, you're practicing short conversations. So in 15 minutes a day, you'll be speaking a new language in a few weeks. Babbel is built around real life. It teaches you practical conversations that you will actually use. Babbel, language for life. Now try Babbel for free. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a language today. That's BABBEL.com.
Hey guys, it's your boy, the Superback Shawn Sierra, and I want to talk to you about my good friends over at the Hispanic Business Network, Carmen and Rogelio. They're having their annual golf outing on Friday, August 7th at Carriage Greens Country Club in Darien. The proceeds benefit Hispanic Business Network Scholarship Fund for first-generation college students. Now, you've already been on the course many a time this year, so your clubs are ready to golf for a good cause. And by the look of it, it sounds like you're going to call in sick on Friday, August 7th. So listen, to register your foursome, go to the website, hbn-chicago.com. Or if you'd just like to donate, go to the website, again, hbn-chicago.com, and click on the donate button. Plus, Shawn and Maya will be broadcasting live from the Carriage Greens Country Club for the event, where we'll have surprise celebrity guests throughout the show. So listen, make plans to attend the Hispanic Business Network annual golf outing on Friday, August 7th at Carriage Greens Country Club in Darien. So to register your foursome or to just donate, go to hbn-chicago.com. Once again, hbn-chicago.com. So don't meet us there, beat us there. Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning. By the way, that ish was dope. I'm just saying. That was pretty dope.
It's pretty fly. It really is. It's like, oh, look at that.
That's pretty dope. Well, the next top of the morning topic, we'll stay with our White Sox. Man, oh man, the injury bug gets us. 2 White Sox were injured yesterday. Luis Madrigal and Encarnacion. Tell you what, this is starting to get a little worrisome. Okay, a little worrisome. Okay, we got Ray Lopez who's out. We got Michael Kopech who decided to opt out. Okay, we have Carlos Rodon who was who left the game as well. Ray Lopez, Jimmy Lambert as well. Tim Anderson with a groin. So we're starting to get a few too many injuries. However, Rick Hahn, in his dastardly deeds, because dirty deeds are done dirt cheap, and I love it.
Yes.
He is stacked. He has really stacked this lineup, this roster with talent. So if another team had a Tim Anderson and they lost, I don't know how well another team could deal with a short absence of a Tim Anderson, the man who led the American League in batting last year.
Mm-hmm.
But the White Sox can't. Now, when you got a guy who led the American League in RBIs, you got a guy who's third, 2 spots behind you in batting.
Mm-hmm.
You got a youngster who hit 30 home runs. I think the White Sox are poised to be able to endure and to envelop this omission of Tim Anderson for a short while, because don't get me wrong, we definitely want him back, but we can overcome this short stint. And it's unfortunate because this is I hope this is the last of the injuries, with the Rodon, because the pitching staff is where I'm really concerned with it, with Rodon out, with Lopez out. Now you have to bring up, okay, Dane Dunning, maybe yes, but then who else? Who else do you bring in? And that's the question mark that I have to ask. Who else do you bring in?
Well, I mean, the overall issue was always going to be that you were hoping that Kopech was going to be part of this.
Right.
So that was a big piece of that rotation. So now I'm just going to look at it like this. Bottom line, Kopech's not back. Even though I know he's in a difficult place, he's got to be watching this like, man, I wish I was there.
Yeah.
He's got to be feeling it like, maybe I should have rethought. Maybe this is what I needed to get me through what I'm going through. But either way, take your time. I'll see you next year. Fully healthy at that point. You know what I mean?
And mind-free.
And mine, yes. You know what? It was worth having to work through this issue, which we still don't quite understand yet.
Yeah.
So go do what you have to do. Take care of yourself emotionally and mentally so you can, because we know when pitchers mentally are not there, it's an issue. So go do what you need to do. So with Kopech being out, that part, okay, he has to kind of extend his development come next year. Cease, he was one of those pieces of the puzzle that I needed to see take a step forward. Looked much better in his second outing. I was like, please don't give up everything in the first inning. Can you not bend over and grab your ankle so soon? Can you wait just a little longer and not do that yet? And so he's looking better. So that Dylan Cease piece was a huge development. Dunning for me is that next piece that I want to see happen. Dane Dunning, and I told you, I wouldn't say his stuff like blew me away, like coming out the gates. But what I was looking for is what was his mental constitution when he got into a pickle on the mound?
Damn.
And that's what I looked for Kopech. And, I watched Dane Dunning a little bit when he was at Florida. I'm like, this kid has got stuff. But I liked his overall presentation on the mound. And it was good to see that I feel like he's ready for that next step. So I want to see Dunning step into a bigger role, which means when we work through the season, no matter how it pans out, so to speak, the key thing is going to be, where's your starting rotation? Remember, this is that season we're kicking our wheels. Giolito needs to be consistent. Lopez, I'm got a feeling you about to get a long-term hall pass with Ray Lopez. I kind of feel like that about him. I mean, I wanted to work with Ray, but I'm not feeling like he's going to be the right fit. So I feel like a pink slip is in his future to go someplace else. You're going to keep Keiko longer. I don't see Gonzalez being here long-term. So if Dunning's coming in and Kopech, we really need one more real veteran in this rotation right now. But as it stands, they can weather the storm with how the team is set up, bottom line.
Or the exact opposite could happen to what you guys are saying. It's possible you can set up a return for Kopech. He probably give him that motivation, like we were talking earlier when he first made the announcement that he was opting out of the season. Also, I think he was going through a divorce. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So she looked like a very beautiful young lady. Sounds like there was some things going on there with just having a newborn. I think she was pregnant or something like that. Mm-hmm. But I know marriage is not an easy thing, but hey, you have to make it work. But in addition to that, he has a chance to probably make a comeback later in the season. You never know.
I was thinking that, but I was like, I'm not going to put it on the table because, to be honest, we really don't have the full details of exactly what's going on. The divorce piece just started. She's still pregnant, so he still has like a lot of emotional things that he has to navigate through, so to speak. So it'd be nice to think he could come back, but I don't necessarily have that expectation with the gravity of this situation that he's in. I mean, he's not been married for 5 months?
Yeah.
And then we talk about potential infidelity, somebody else's baby, and what?
Yeah.
That's heavy. That's real heavy.
Yeah. That's the backstory. That's how my prayers is with the Kopech family. I hope that works out. But in addition to that, like I said, you guys have enough depth to sustain you through the storms that you're going through now. You're still able to produce at a high level, So I think Rick Hahn had the perfect plan in place. He had a plan A and a plan B. Plan A was stack the deck, go out there and play and win games. Plan B, if we get hurt, continue to stack the deck and go out there and win games. So, you guys are in a perfect position. You're prime. Only person that's in your way, or the only team that's in your way, is the Minnesota Twins. And like I said, eventually y'all gonna have a showdown with them at the end of the season, and that's what's gonna come down to. I know those last games they beat you in. They kind of caught you guys off guard. Y'all had like matchup problems. Y'all had Giolito starting with Grandal that day, so you really couldn't get a gauge on if it was all Giolito or mostly was Grandal. And then the Twins, they're not going to feel sorry for you guys because they're waiting for the ball to come down the middle and they smacking it out of the park. But in addition to that, once you guys make your adjustments, you keep throwing your playoff lineup out there for the rest of these remaining games. I guess it's 50, 40 something, 40.
Assuming that we stay on the course,
right?
Of the playoffs, because obviously the minute COVID is someone tests positive on a team, that kind of shuffles the schedule. So the whole idea of 60 games in 66 days has already been foiled. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if it happens again, now you've got timetables being pushed back.
Right.
So it's just a matter of cross your fingers that they can get through this.
But I believe, like I said, with the new playoff format, y'all in prime position to do a lot of damage in the playoffs. And I think a lot of teams are starting to fear you. They don't really – it's an unknown when it comes to the White Sox. It's like we know that they have potential, but can they prove it? So now you're starting to see the results every night. Like, oh, here's another win. Oh, here's another win. Now they're on a 6-game winning streak, whether it's against weak teams or not, because most of the times when the White Sox are playing, most of the times they're not coming from a vantage point. You see what I mean? They weren't even really ranked coming into the season. They were just potentially ranked. You see what I mean? So
right, it was all potential is what you're saying. Yeah,
exactly. It doesn't guarantee a win, but now that they're actually winning, and that vision of Rick Hahn is coming to fruition, which is very similar to the blueprint the Cubs had. 2014, 2015, 2016, which is where Rick Hahn got it from. Shout out to Rick Hahn. But
hold on, player. The Cubs, tell them. I'll do you light work. The Dodgers, the Cardinals,
I know.
the Red Sox. That's a formula that a whole bunch of other teams. That's not something that you created. You didn't reinvent the wheel.
Y'all some copycats, man.
I'm actually gonna totally squash that for the guy below here. Anyways, so with that being said, just another pool of information from the show last night, Sports 101 with Jamar Hart. Okay, here's the thing: the Brooklyn Dodgers were the first team to bring Latino players onto their team. So they began the concept of they started actually having farm systems in the Caribbean long before the White Stockings had pulled it down and changed their name. So stop that. Stop that. The White Stockings didn't come up with that.
I had to get that little shot in there. That's all.
It is okay.
But other than that, no more low blows. We're gonna make peace this season. Kumbaya. White Sox, Cubs, because we want to make this World Series happen. The Yankees did it. What was that in 2000? Yankees
2001.
2001, the Subway Series. Now it's time for the Red Line Series to take place. So we got to do everything we can to encourage each other. It's almost like those rival schools, let's make it happen. Let's make it happen.
Say Rita and Mount Carmel, who's going to be on later today at 11.
Right, baby.
No, I don't want there to be. I don't want a Red Line World Series because we can't go to the game. I don't want there to be that World Series. No.
Yeah, that would be.
No, that would be devastating to me for there to be that World Series and I can't physically go to the game. No, I don't want that. I mean, I'll take it, but I don't want that. I really don't.
That would really. That would, yeah. You might have to call the National Guard to keep people out of those buildings.
That's right.
We're going in, damn it. We'll give you some money. We're going in. Don't worry about the cost. We're going in, damn it. This might never happen in our lifetime again.
Hey, Shawn, I'm coming in as the mascot. What's our mascot name?
Southpaw.
Southpaw. Yeah, I'm gonna come in as Southpaw. Come in.
Because you scared to come in as Clark. That's why.
Yeah, Clark doesn't wear pants, man. Clark doesn't wear pants.
Well, that's about right. I mean,
about right on the north side.
Okay, Shawn, stop. Stop for you get us in trouble. Stop for you get us in trouble.
We got to get
talking to us and he's muted.
Pants, man.
Ivan's talking to us and he's muted. He's really fired up, but he's muted.
Yeah. I'm saying Clark. I'm done with Clark. Clark should have never have been. Like when Clark came on the scene, I was like, "Look at this goofy ass. You don't have pants." I was like, "Come on, man." You can't do it. Clark, I'll pass on Clark. You can take Southpaw. I'm done. I'm good with. I don't even want to see Clark.
Bears don't wear pants, so that's why he doesn't have pants on.
They got to put the little blurry video.
But no, bears don't wear pants. There's no reason to blur it out because if you see bears, you don't have to do that. So they figured they would just put a shirt on him. I don't know. It was for the kids. It was for the kids. It's not for adults. Clark is not for adult fans. He's for the kids. Just know that. You could tell by the whole look of him. He's not for the adult fans. He's for the kids.
Bear, like, come on, man.
I think he's kind of cute.
Kids would like him. Yeah, I can see that.
Little bear.
Leave our mascot alone, please.
Anyway, next stop of the morning topic: the Blackhawks play Game 3 of the qualifying round with the series tied at 1-1 against the Edmonton Oilers tonight. And the Blackhawks need to get off to a quick start. Both games, the Edmonton Oilers have scored first. And this is actually, to me, this is the pivotal matchup because whoever goes up 2-1, remember, it's a best of 5. So the first 1 to 3 victories wins the series. If the Hawks can steal this one, there was one thing in watching both of those games. It was bizarro world for all my Seinfeld friends. Okay.
No, you mean for all the people who used to watch the Super Friends.
And my super friends and my Seinfeld friends.
That's where
there's a big gamut. Yeah, there's a big
that's
gamut.
Where Bizarro World comes from. Bizarro Superman from the Super Friends.
Right.
Come on now, come on.
But no, I know that, but I know a lot of younger people don't know that. So
ain't nobody young watching us. No, I'm just kidding.
But, I'm seeing the Oilers being very fast. I'm seeing the Edmonton Oilers being very quick to the puck. They're everywhere and very reminiscent of 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 Blackhawks, very reminiscent of those teams. And it's you talk about frustrating because you see a guy in Edmonton, one of the Oilers will get there a half a second beforehand. And it's like, that was us. That was us 6-8 years, you know what I mean? Because we saw them grow up from kids. They're literally 18 years old when Taves and Kane were drafted. These were kids, and we saw them. We saw the youth, with Brendan Saad, with Dustin Byfuglien, with all those guys, and the speed that they had. Okay, the speed and the passing ability that they had. The passing ability is still there. It's just the speed is slowed down a little bit, and it's frustrating a little. The Hawks need to really do a better job of, and it's tough because you got the top 2 scorers in the league at Edmonton, but you still got to do. They got to do a much better job of trying to get this game because Game 3 is huge because now you have 2 shots to win one game. As opposed to you must win both games if you lose today.
The issue that I saw in that second matchup is something that is a layover from the rest of the season. Defensively, the Blackhawks are not where they need to be. Corey Crawford was just getting suffocated at parts defensively. That's the area that to me is their weakest link. Because when it's all said and done, you're right, the skating piece, mano for speed, you're right, you can tell they've slowed down. But defensively, they're not where they need to be. And to me, that's truly their Achilles heel because they're going to have to give that additional support around the net to Corey Crawford. If they don't, this is going to end sooner than later. And I didn't pick them to win it. I felt they could win that first game because everyone's kind of coming off of, being in quarantine, hadn't played in a while, rusty. That was a game I felt they could steal. But then you get to Game 2, and now the Oilers are getting back to the form we're used to seeing the Oilers in. And now we have an issue where the Blackhawks, to me, can't match them where they need to match up with them. And the power play is huge. If you give the Oilers advantage and give them power plays, it's a wrap. And there was way too much of that happening in the second game.
And it seems like this series is going to be a series of best shots. I said in Game 1, the Blackhawks gave the Oilers their best shot. In Game 2, the Oilers gave the Blackhawks their best shot. So now that both teams have seen their best shots, their highest of play, now Blackhawks can return the favor. You've seen Edmonton's best shot. So now you just got to go in there, make your adjustments, go all out, and let's make history. You can't fear the fact that they have, I wouldn't say they have more skillful players, but you can't fear the fact that their strategy is a little bit better than our strategy. I think it's going to come down to coaching, putting players in position to do the right things. And then in addition to that, not taking any possessions off, playing hard. Like you said, my defense is so important. And if Corey Crawford doesn't get help, they're going to keep peppering the net with goals.
You said the thing that you took. Apparently, great minds think alike, because I was going to say the exact thing. Coaching. Okay, Jeremy Colleton, they got you for a reason. They talked. You won a cup over in Europe somewhere. Okay, a championship, and that's one of the reasons that you brought him over. Okay, good. Well, then now we need that now. We need coaching now. Okay, there's you have to. There's no substitute for speed. So you have to say, how can I get around and it's not that we're slow. It's just that Edmonton is so fast. Right. So how do I get my guys in position? Okay, so it's going to come out to the game plan is going to be very important going into tonight. And if he does, then the Hawks are able to pull this one out and take the series, with a third victory. Man, my respect for Jeremy Colleton will go through the roof. It will go through the freaking roof, because right now here's where good coaching can beat better talent. And if he can do that, again, my respect for Jeremy Colleton goes through the roof.
The thing I think we just got beat by the greatest player in the world right now, in Connor McDavid. I think that was it. We got beat by the best hockey player in the world, in Connor McDavid. I mean, he came out, the first 2 goals, he came out and it was just like, oh shit, he's pissed. Like it looked angry. Those goals were like, I'm going to put you on my back, and this is where we're going to go. And his third one was. What's that?
His third one was the Nick Leddy off the jersey type.
Yeah. I mean, it was a hat trick. I mean,
but that happens when you're that good. You'll get those. That good.
Right. And the motivation that he came into the game with, I think we just got beat by the best player in the world. That's how I see it.
This is reminiscent of once upon a time we had that player in Patrick Kane.
Mm-hmm.
We had that player in Patrick Kane and Taze. And here's the thing. Everything moves forward. And that's one of the things about even the exit of Coach Q. The question was, has the NHL moved on from the Blackhawks being that best team based on talent? That shift happens. Remember, once upon a time, it was Sidney Crawford. Remember that?
The kid?
I mean, Crosby, brother. Crosby. Remember, at one point it was he was that player. So this shift happens around the league, and right now Edmonton happens to be the team that has that player. So there's no reason to be angry about it, to not be able to accept it. The bottom line is that we said that Coach Q didn't necessarily have what he needed to be able to do better. I'll be honest with you. I don't personally feel that Colleton can just coach himself out of this, because this is about talent. When people get on the ice, it's called meet me where I'm at, and what they have is better than what we have right now. Bottom line. And I'm not going to put this on Colleton and think that he can reach into some kind of magic hat and pull out this better team. He can only coach what he has. And we agreed even before, they're not better to beat Edmonton in a series. They can win a game, but they're not beating them in a series. They are who we think they are, and they've been here for a couple seasons. Real talk.
I don't know if I necessarily. I don't know if I completely agree with it. I don't necessarily disagree with what you're saying. But
what exactly don't you agree or disagree with? Please.
Because if you looked at the game, if you watched the game, they kept coming back. There was times.
Did you watch Edmonton before this series? Have you seen them play?
Yeah, I've seen them play.
And you
think the top 2 scorers in the league? The Hawks matched them all the way up into a few minutes left.
What game was this?
The second game.
Game 2.
It was 3-3 at one point.
So they were coming back.
And then what happened?
And then they showed the little things that we were talking about. They showed that in little.
Which makes them what? A better
vulnerable.
team.
It makes them vulnerable, but they can match up with Edmonton, go for goal. But they have to play a good game. We have to play good defense.
So you're telling me you think they can win this playoff series against Edmonton?
Oh yeah. Oh, I think they can. It'll be tough.
Okay, I'll tell you what. Tough. I so don't believe they can win this series. I will bet you money, not beer. You can keep your beer. I will bet you money.
No beer.
Put your money where your mouth is.
Challenge.
$10.
$10.
$10. $10.
$10?
I'm challenging you.
I'll go
$10 a piece. I'll take 20. $10 a piece from each. I'm not gonna break no bank. I'm not gonna take your beer money. Okay?
Maya, I don't bet, Maya.
Okay, no, Joseph, I left you out of this. I'm gonna leave you out. I'm going for these.
She's like, no, I want their
I'm going
money.
all savage on these two. So with that being said, $10 a piece. And if
and then you take us out for beer if you win.
Okay.
And I'll take you out for beer if we win.
No, and then you can take me out for beer when I win and pay extra on top.
You said that, yeah.
You gotta wear Cubs gear for a week, right?
Oh, no, I have nothing to that.
Hold on, Cub fan. Hold on, player. They keep them out of it, White Stockings.
Actually, that's a good one. For a whole week of shows, Ivan has to wear White Sox stuff.
Oh,
very funny.
And Shawn, if you lose, you have to wear Cubs stuff a whole week.
Oh,
no.
You have to wear opposite gear.
We just changed the terms.
I just want to make
we just changed the terms. We agreed $10.
No, I want. You know what?
We did. You said $10. $10. And then you said, fine, I'll take your $20. So you accepted the bet.
The fans agreed that this is better. They're like, yeah.
Okay, whoever's watching, should it be $10 or should it be opposite team gear?
Okay, here's what I'm going to do this. Everybody listening to the show, what should the bet be? $10? Or should they have to wear opposite team gear? Let's let the fans decide what they think it should be.
Okay, end of the show. End of the show. Post. Wear gear, $10. That's the challenge. So you guys think that the Blackhawks can win this series? Okay.
So hold on, player. Hold on. So that means if the Blackhawks come back and win this, then you're gonna have to wear Cubs gear.
Come back, it's even 1-1. They're not coming back.
I mean, you got a bunch of misguided people who think I'm a Cubs fan, anyways. I don't really get that from them. So okay,
sound like fight words to me.
You know what? I'll wear it. Just rock they stuff and make it look hot. That's all. Okay.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I don't care.
How you supposed to wear it? That's how one more curves wears this.
That's the most savage they've ever seen. No, I'm just kidding.
I want with curves wears this. Okay.
Opposite jerseys. The votes are coming in. Opposite jerseys.
Hey, Chef Daddy, hush your mouth.
Gear.
Gear.
They're like, forget the cash. Okay.
All right. Well, we'll see you at the end of the show. We got to take a quick break. Hey, Joseph, thanks again, buddy. We appreciate it. We will see you on Friday again. And we got to take a quick break. So on the other side of the break, we're going to talk more Blackhawks with our main dude when it comes to hockey, John Dietz from Data Hero. So don't go anywhere, folks. John Dietz coming up next right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago.
BoomerNaturals.com presents the Sports Flash on 1330 and 95.9 The Zone.
Deep fly ball to left. This ball's got a chance. Long gone. Tape measure time for Wilson Contreras. Halfway up the bleachers in left center. His second of the year, and the Cubs now lead by a score of 5-2.
Cubs radio with the call. Wilson Contreras with the blast. 5-4, the win over the Royals. The White Sox beat Milwaukee 3-2. Lucas Giolito, 9 strikeouts over 6 innings. He gave up 2 runs on 4 hits. Jose Abreu singled home the winning run in the 7th. NHL qualifying round action continues tonight. The Blackhawks take on the Oilers. The series tied at 1 game apiece in the best of 5. It's a 9:30 Central puck drop on NBCSN. Boomer Naturals, your source for 3-layer protective face masks. Breathable protection for adults and kids. Save 20% with promo code SPORTS at BoomerNaturals.com. Chuck Sanders, that's the Sports Flash, 1330 95.9 The Zone.
O'Reilly Auto Parts can help make your auto maintenance easier. So when your car isn't stopping like it used to, our professional parts people will help you find the brake parts and supplies to do the job right the first time. Right now, get 15% off a set of brake vest pads and 2 rotors, plus O'Reilly Brake Cleaner, 2 for $5. Stop by or visit O'ReillyAuto.com today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Have you wanted to speak a new language, but thought it would be too difficult? Then try Babbel. Babbel starts by teaching you words and phrases that gradually get more complex. Soon, you're practicing short conversations. So in 15 minutes a day, you'll be speaking a new language in a few weeks. Babbel is built around real life. It teaches you practical conversations that you will actually use. Babbel, language for life. Now try Babbel for free. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a language today. That's BABBEL.com.
Hey guys, it's your boy, the Superback Shawn Sierra, and I want to talk to you about my good friends over at the Hispanic Business Network, Carmen and Rogelio. They're having their annual golf outing on Friday, August 7th at Carriage Greens Country Club in Darien. The proceeds benefit Hispanic Business Network Scholarship Fund for first-generation college students. Now, you've already been on the course many a time this year, so your clubs are ready to golf for a good cause. And by the look of it, it sounds like you're going to call in sick on Friday, August 7th. So listen, to register your foursome, go to the website, hbn-chicago.com. Or if you'd just like to donate, go to the website, again, hbn-chicago.com, and click on the donate button. Plus, Shawn and Maya will be broadcasting live from the Carriage Greens Country Club for the event, where we'll have surprise celebrity guests throughout the show. So listen, make plans to attend the Hispanic Business Network annual golf outing on Friday, August 7th at Carriage Greens Country Club in Darien. So to register your foursome or to just donate, go to hbn-chicago.com. Once again, hbn-chicago.com. So don't meet us there, beat us there. Welcome back to Shawn and Maya. By the way, that is so dope. I'm just saying. I'm not saying, I'm just saying.
Can't stop staring at it. Look at that. It's all fancy.
I get like a little kid. Hey, welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago. It does have little sound effects. Got a little, and then it fades in because all like when the pieces come together, they're all cracked, and all of a sudden it's all smooth. That's pretty dope. That's pretty dope. Hey, well, listen, welcome back, folks. We're going to talk a little more hockey with our man. He is the dude. He's a good friend of the program. You've seen him here plenty of times. He's a beat writer. He's a Chicago Blackhawks beat writer for the Daily Herald. You can find him on Twitter at John Dietz, DH. Guys, just welcome back to Shawn and Maya, our good friend, the golfer extraordinaire, John Dietz. John, what's up, buddy? How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you guys? Look, I wore my Medina shirt for you. Just see, you didn't even know I was going to say something about
nice.
Okay, so I see a shift already here with you, John. So right before hockey started, you looked all relaxed, and kind of like you were like doing your quarantine thing, and all of a sudden now hockey's back, and look at that! Look, he's beaming. He's got a glow on his face.
John, are you pregnant? Because you have a glow about you, buddy.
I know. Well, it's a beautiful day. Hockey's back. I was amazed yesterday. I lost track, honestly, how many games were on. I think it was six yesterday, or it was yeah. So I mean, I woke up and I said, "Oh my God, there's a game on at 11 in the morning, and the last game starts at 9:45." It was not that I watched all day, but it was on all day.
If you wanted to, you could have. If you wanted to, you could have.
Yeah, and so Patrick Kane made the comment a couple of weeks ago about how it could be like the NCAA tournament, and that's kind of how it feels. I almost feel like in a couple of weeks, I don't know when we're going to start having less games per day, but we're going to kind of be like, oh, there's only 3 games today. There's only 4 games today. You know what I mean? So it's been neat. Yeah, it's been neat to have games on and games that mean something.
So I'm glad we have you on because our last segment have a challenge that we've set up. So your expertise is going to be key into this. Uh-oh. So I've been watching.
Obviously, to determine the outcome of the series.
His expertise and his insight, Shawn. Don't get upset. So
why would John? We want your opinion. You're not going to affect the series. But go ahead, Maya.
Correct. My wife believes that. My wife believes that I say things and then things happen on the television right after I say them because I said them.
So he's magic. See, but his insight is going to disprove my point when I'm said what's all said and done. So when you were on, we talked about this was going to be a difficult series. That first game would probably be the game to kind of snatch and to win, and the Blackhawks, they did it. I say, just based on what I've seen and watching Edmonton, even before we got to this part of the season, that I feel like they win the series. It doesn't mean that the Hawks don't try to be competitive, but I don't feel that they have enough to beat Edmonton. So our challenge is, I say Edmonton wins. If I win, Shawn and Ivan have to wear opposite gear. So our producer has to wear White Sox gear, and Shawn has to wear Cubs gear for a full week of shows. And then if I lose, I have to wear Cubs gear, but I don't care. I'm like, I'll rock it. It doesn't matter. Talk to me about, I'll rock it. Be like, look, talk to me about this series. 2 games in, we're looking at game 3. What's your thoughts so far?
Oh my God! So you put me on the spot. My boss asked me the same question, like before game 2. What's your prediction? I'm like, I don't know. Making predictions in these series are almost impossible, right? And I think Eddie Olczyk probably said it best when he was talking about before all these series started that every team is going into this whole tournament thinking, why not us? It's a whole new season. These guys haven't played for 4 months. They're at all different levels of health now. Guys like the Hawks got Calvin DeHaan back. He wasn't expected to play the rest of the season. And one of the things that I think benefits the Hawks is the fact that Jonathan Tays, Duncan Keith, Patrick Kane, and to some extent Corey, although Corey's rusty, so I'm not going to put Corey in that category. But those 3 guys, normally, they played an 82-game season, and they've had a lot of mileage on the tires, and now they're in a spot where they have they're rested from the summer. Now, I don't know how great a shape they're in because that's a whole nother story, but I think that benefits the Hawks. It also benefits the Hawks like Kirby Doc and Adam Boquist are better players than they were 4 months ago and things like that. So predicting these things, Maya, is next to impossible. My only prediction I'm going to make is that this series goes to 5 games. I'm not going to predict a winner. I just can't do it. I honestly think it's pretty even. These teams, like the Hawks, look great in the first game, except for that stupid, too many men on the ice penalty in the very beginning where they allowed a goal. And then they just dominated most of the rest of the game. Then the last game, the Hawks stayed with it. I mean, you could say, it was 6-3. They lost. The score maybe not quite as indicative as how tight it was. It was 3-3 game late in the second period, right? They fought back. They showed a lot of grit and determination, and they kind of played a little bit like I'm not going to, this isn't a team from 2010, 13, 15, all those years, even 14. But they did show resilience. They bounced back. They never did that against Nashville in 2017, right? They just fell apart in basically every game. So they showed some resilience to come back, and that should be something positive to think of if you're a Hawks fan. And then just a misplay behind the net by Corey, and that pretty much turned the game into Edmonton's game, and it was theirs at that point. So I think these 2 teams it's a fun series to watch so far, and it's kind of like a little bit of a boxing match, a little bit back and forth, like, okay, we got you, no, we got you. And so I'm not picking a winner, sorry. I'm only going to say it's going to go 5 games.
Okay, I mean, I'll go with that. I kind of feel like you didn't flat out say, "Oh, Hawks got this," which tells me there's an underlying conversation back there. So I'm going to read between the lines. I'm going to be a woman and read between the lines. That's what I'm going to do, John.
You do that all the time. So go ahead, do your thing. Do your thing, girl. Do your thing.
And I'm, to be honest, I mean, if the Blackhawks win, I'm not going to be sad. I'm going to be happy for them because I just don't feel the couple things that for me are red flags. The defense was an issue even before we got to this series. And I feel like it's still an issue, and Edmonton can challenge them in big ways, especially when we talk about in front of the net. The second thing is, if the Hawks can find a way to not keep giving Edmonton advantage with power plays, then that would be a good thing for them. But when you give them that advantage, that's when their backs are obviously against the wall. And I saw too much. I think I'm seeing too much of that in the first 2 games. Those are 2 areas I think are glaring deficiencies for them. And if they can right that ship, then maybe, but I don't know that they have what they need to do that against Edmonton.
Well, so that was one of the things I wrote about today. I had a whole story about, what do the Hawks need to be better at in game 3. And one of them, Maya, was what you just said, was they got to stay out of the penalty box. There have been 9 power plays by Edmonton so far. So I'm pretty good at math, and that's 4.5 per game. Okay, so and during the regular season, the Hawks were only shorthanded against Edmonton 7 times in 3 games, which is 2.33. That's a much better number. They need to be shorthanded only 2 or 3 times. There's a lot of these games where you look up and down the games as you're watching, and it seems like a team is on the power play all the time. Now, I don't know if the refs are calling things a little closer, or if guys are just a step, a little bit slow, or they're just, it is August and they haven't played hockey in a while. So I think we're seeing, and I don't have the stats on this, so it's just a perception after watching these games that we're seeing more power plays than normal. But the Hawks do need to stay out of the box more, because it's just, you can't be in the box that often and expect to beat Edmonton. On the flip side, they've also had plenty of opportunities on the power play, and they took advantage of them in the first game. The second game, I mean, come on, you guys. If you, for those of you who watched it, which I'm assuming many of you did, they had almost back-to-back power plays in the second period, right? 6 minutes of power play time, and I want to say like 6.5 minutes of hockey time. So, and they did not score. The Edmonton did a wonderful job of stepping in front of some really high velocity shots. And, so give Edmonton credit. But the Hawks had 4 power plays, 3.5 in the second period. And the other one kind of, bled over to the third period. They had 1 minute, 1 minute in the third period. So, but the Hawks didn't cash in on any of them. So the special teams, there's no doubt, are going to play a big part in this series. And the Hawks, they need to stay out of the penalty box, because as good as their penalty kill was this year, it was way better than the year before when they were historically bad. It's still not, there's still not going to, I'm sorry, the guys they have on the ice are still going to be at a huge disadvantage to Edmonton's power play. And let's not forget, last thing before we go to Shawn, I think, Corey Crawford is still not 100%, right? I'm sorry, he's still not where he would be with 3 full weeks of training camp and all that stuff. So do you really want to put Corey Crawford in the in a shorthanded role 4 or 5 times a game? No, because some of those pucks are going to get by. It's just the facts. All right, I'm done with that
one. Guys, we're joined by John Deese for the Daily Herald, the Chicago Blackhawks beat writer right here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago. And, one of the things that I thought that they needed to do was stop getting off to a freaking deficit. It was like, was it under a minute? No, like 2 and change in the game 1. And then again, game 2, 2:34. So, you right away you're down. And I understand hockey can score it in a heartbeat within seconds. And I get it. But it's just the mental aspect of it. Now we have to come back. Okay. If they get behind again, especially if it's early, if it's 8 minutes into the first and they go down, okay, that's not a big deal. Okay. But if you get down, boom, early like they did in the first 2 games, I think that could have a toll. I will tell you this. I am really impressed with Kirby Dach. I didn't think he would have the cojones basically to play at this level. And this 18-year-old, 19-year-old kid is showing me a lot. And I think that, I wasn't a big fan because I didn't know a lot about Kirby Dach when we drafted him. Like, why the hell? There were a couple other guys. I think this was a great pick. I'm a big fan of him, and this playoff experience is going to do nothing but make this kid even better.
Right, that's true. So I'll talk about both the things you just talked about. The one thing with Dach is we aren't going to know if the Hawks drafted the right player for 2 to 5 years. There are some guys further down in that draft that people are like, this defenseman, Bowen Byram, and there's other guys that haven't even shown up in the league yet. So we don't know who's going to be the best player. Like, should the Hawks have taken the guys that went 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, whatever, we won't know. But you're right. Kirby Dach has looked fantastic for during this part of the season, right? They eased him in, and it was like kind of in my mind, like, do you send him back to juniors? Do you leave? Do you mature his game here? I think they made the right decision. It's always hard to know, right? A team like the Hawks, a team that wasn't probably going to qualify for the play. Well, they weren't going to qualify for the playoffs. Yeah. Under these circumstances. But on another team like Vegas, like, what if he was drafted by Vegas? There's no way he would have been on Vegas's team, right? Or pick any team like Tampa Bay, or of course these guys wouldn't have been drafting that high in the first place. But if they were, like, I'm going to go back to Vegas for a second though, because Vegas had the number 6 pick a couple of years ago, and they left that guy in the juniors for not 1 year, guys, but 2 years. They left their number 6 guy in juniors. Okay, so they determined he wasn't ready to play. And Vegas' team was stacked, so they didn't need him, and they let him mature in juniors. So better teams are going to let kids like that mature down there and dominate levels down there. And I'm not saying the Hawks made the wrong decision, not at all. But I'm just saying that, because they were kind of a lower talented team or whatever, that they could kind of afford to bring him up and mature him at their level. And I think it's worked out. Now I'm going to go back to your other point about slow starts. And if, again, hopefully people who are listening go read my story today, because it talks about what needs to happen in these games, in game 3 for the Hawks. And the first thing I started with is, I've told you guys this before, but I've been covering Jeremy since he was in Rockford. And one of the things he's hammered home with every team that he's coached is every 5 seconds is life and death. That's how I started my story today too. Every 5 seconds is life and death. Do not let up for a second. So you have to be ready, and the guys know this, right? But sometimes, the puck drops, and the puck's in the other zone, and the puck comes down to your zone, and it's 10 seconds into the game. Oh, what could possibly go wrong 10 seconds into the game? Well, the Hawks found that out, right, the other day, when Keith just kind of bumped the puck up the boards, and nobody reacted to the middle of the ice. Connor McDavid just ended up in the middle of the ice, 9 feet away from Corey Crawford. Like, how does that happen? And then the puck bounces to him. He puts kind of a wobbly shot on net, but that's all it took. And it's 1-0 in 19 seconds. So again, every 5 seconds is life and death. You have to be ready every second of the game, or, stuff like that's going to happen. And So yes, Shawn, better. They need a much better start. They do have home ice, quote unquote, which means they get the last line change and things like that. Hey, I got a quick question for you guys. I want to throw one to you guys. I put this on Twitter and Facebook, and I'm coming up with weird story ideas or weird thoughts just because it is a weird situation, right? They're playing in a bubble. There's no fans. I think if you're the visiting team, your goal horn and your goal song should not be playing when you're scoring. Like only the home team should get that. Why should the visiting team, like if you're in a visiting arena, that wouldn't happen. You wouldn't get Chelsea Dagger playing if you were the visiting team. So again, maybe it's a silly kind of thing, but as a home team, you should have some advantages. Last line change. Being able to be in the locker room of the home team, and then only your goal song plays. So whatever. I mean, it's a little thing, but I just wondered what you guys thought about that.
Ma, you want to go first or me?
I agree with it because I thought that even though I know we were watching it, so to speak, in a bubble, I thought that was weird. I was like, so no, I agree with you. I think try to stay as close to the norm as you can, even though we know it's not. One of the things I had said to Shawn, though I enjoyed it, was when McDavid had his hat trick, who I don't know if she was like a marketing person or whoever she was, runs down the stairs of the arena and she throws the hats, onto the ice to kind of give a semblance of it happened. So, keep things as close to as the norm as they can. And I think that's one of the things that how it should be, even though I wonder how many people actually watching know that. I paid attention to that too, but I wonder how many people are really dialed into they're supposed to be the home team this game, so that shouldn't be happening.
For me, because it's a crazy time, I'm okay with it. Usually, I think if it was a regular, because it's the crazy time that we're in, I'm okay with it. I think you want both teams to be comfortable. And I think it's okay. It's okay. It's a one-time deal. It's a 1-year deal, and I get it. If you're home, you have certain advantages. But for me, I'm okay with it. It's not a make or break thing for me. Like if they didn't do it, I'd be okay with it. If they did, since they do it, I'm okay with it. It's kind of, but I do understand your annoyance by it because I can see it because if I cared more, I think I would be annoyed too. But it's okay. It's okay because you're just in crazy times, and you know what? It's some of your friends are you're trying to deal with this whole thing, and any small thing to help both teams, giving them a peace of mind or something familiar, I'm cool with it.
And it's just a little thing. And
it's very small.
And I like that both of you had the different answer because even when I put it on Twitter and Facebook, I got both, kind of 50-50 or maybe a little bit more towards, my poll, like a little bit higher percentage that was agreeing with me, but not much. And so it's just interesting that, everybody's got a different thought on it.
Different take on it.
Again, it was just a little thing, so no big deal.
How well do you think this defense is going to play, or Crawford? Crawford realizes this could be and most likely going to be his last year with the Hawks. He's in a contract year. I don't think they're going to re-sign him. I don't think they should re-sign him. He's just got too much. Do you expect him to come out and really? And I know he's a little rusty because of the lack of playing, but there's something inside a champion, and that's why I think the Hawks, as you saw, were able to come back a little and tie the game. There's something about a champion that you can just never count out, and when you have 2 Stanley Cups in your back pocket, it's that means something. And how strong do you think Corey Crawford can be that guy, or is the rust too much? Can he carry the Hawks for the next 2 or 3 games?
That's a good question. What I'm going to say, I believe Corey will get better every game because he's only been really practicing and in games for 9 or 10 days, right? So every day is going to be he should improve a little bit more than everybody else just because he hasn't been in. He missed all of camp except for 1 day. Mm-hmm. So yes, I believe he will continue to get better. I also believe that the defense will play better in these 2 games, mostly because Jeremy can get the right defenders out there when he wants, right? There was a lot of times in those first 2 games where you saw Slater, Cuckoo, and Oli Mata out there against like McDavid and Draisaitl's lines. And I think you're going to see less of that in this game. I think you're going to be those 2 guys will be out there more against the 3rd and 4th lines because Jeremy can determine the matchups. So you're going to get the Hawks' top 2 pairs, which are Connor Murphy and Calvin DeHaan, and Duncan Keith and Adam Boqvist facing those guys. So that should help. But again, I mean, like, God, whoever's out there, you just got to be aware of Connor McDavid's speed. I mean, I don't know
Unbelievable.
that there's ever been a faster hockey player than him, right? I mean, go back to guys like, I'm trying to think of the fastest football players of all time.
Bo, Dion.
Yeah, like Dion. I was
Daryl
thinking of
Green.
Dion, yes, right. Like every time Dion had an interception, I would think, okay, that's a touchdown. Because I mean, he made professional football players look slow. I mean, think about that. It was incredible to watch him. So McDavid's kind of the same way. When he gets going, he makes professional hockey players, the best players in the world, look slow. So I mean, everybody's got to be on their toes and get back in front of, and Corey included, has got to be ready for him coming down the ice at a million miles an hour, however fast he's going. So yeah, I think the defense will play better. And again, I think Corey will be, I think he'll improve every game. So they got to go back to playing playoff style hockey though. I think they got away from that a little bit in the second game. They didn't control the puck. They were not tough on the puck.
Yes, thank you. That's what I'm yelling at the TV. Like, hit him, check him into the board. There's this thing, there's the big plexiglass called the board. Hit and knock him into it. What the heck's wrong with you?
Right, so they got away from all that. They did a great job of it in game one. I mean, Kirby Dach was stealing pucks, and he was digging pucks out of corners, and he looked fantastic. And then, and I think some of it was Edmonton not being ready to play in that first game. I think maybe they took the Hawks a little lightly. I also think, they scored that first goal, and that's how I started my game story the next night. They scored that first goal, and imagine the building after they score the first goal if that place was full. I mean, we all know what playoff hockey looks like and sounds like, right? The place would have been going bananas. So do they ride that
234
momentum?
in? Heck yeah, it would have been nuts. So
yep, it erupts.
They could have rode that momentum to a second goal and a third goal. We don't know. I mean, because we don't know. Instead, it was like goal horn, goal song, and like cricket. and then they went back to like playing hockey. And I said it had all the emotion of a scrimmage goal at Fifth Third Arena. That was about it, other than the goal horn and the goal song going off. So I think maybe Edmonton, I don't know, they just weren't ready. They weren't able to get a boost from their crowd, and they totally turned things around in the last game. And that's why this has been a fun series so far. Hopefully it'll kind of keep going back and forth like this, and I don't know. Maybe we don't know if we're going to end up in a game 5, but I think we will. It's been fun so far.
Guys, we're with John Dietz for the day for the Daily Herald, Blackhawks beat writer, talking a little Blackhawks. We got him. One more question before we let you go. Right here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago. Prediction.
You asked me for a prediction. I told you.
I told you. Stop pushing the issue.
I can only tell you that it's going to go to 5 games.
No, I know, but today. So someone's got to win today. Not the series. Today.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Today. Prediction for today.
Oh, you're putting me under the gun again.
Yes.
I'll pick the Blackhawks in this game. So here's I'll say Blackhawks in this game, Edmonton in the next game, because their backs will be against the wall again, and then coin flip in game 5. So I'm going to go Hawks. So a little more specific. I'll say Hawks get off to a much better start. They're going to learn from their, we got to play every second of the game. They get off to a lead. Edmonton kind of bounces back, and then the Hawks get a, crucial goal midway through the third period, and they win 5-3. There's my prediction.
Okay. Guys, he's John Dietz. He's a Blackhawks beat writer for the Daily Herald and a good friend of the program. And you know what? Thanks, buddy. I really appreciate it. And you know what? On Friday, we're going to be out at a golf in Darien over at Carriage Greens. So
it's going to be like 9 minutes from my house. That's basically where I live, like 9 minutes from Carriage Greens.
Oh, no way. Stop by and say hi.
Yeah.
I might.
Come on by.
I'm trying to think of my Friday. What time is the turn? Is it all day thing?
Yeah, I don't know. We're gonna, I'll hit you up. I'll text you all the info. Because it's the Hispanic Business Network fundraiser, scholarship fundraiser. So that's what we're going to be. So we'll be there early, and it'll be 9 to noon. So dude, if you want, come on now.
I will. Let me plug a couple stories real quick. For those of you who didn't missed my Slater Cuckoo story, I mean, I know it's third pairing defenseman, but it's an inspirational story. I really
it is. Yeah, it was. I read that. That was good.
Yeah, thanks, man. We're not able to do stories like that anymore, covering the playoffs the way we are, right? Doing Zoom interviews and everything. So that's a story I had ready to go in mid-March. I had to put it on the back burner. I resurrected it, updated it a little bit with these playoffs going on. And so I think people will really enjoy that one. So Slater Cuckoo story, trying to find that one on the website. And then another neat one was Stan Mikita's grandson qualified for the Illinois Open. 16 years old. So if people out there are listening missed that one, that's a really neat story too. So I try to check those out when you get a second.
Will do.
Will do. That's, again, John Dees from the Data Herald. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. We'll be in touch soon.
All right.
Guys, yeah, so it's interesting. I think he was right when he said that I think Edmonton took him lightly. I think they did.
I don't even know so much if they took them lightly as much as it was everybody was coming back from quarantine. Slow. Regardless of how not good the Blackhawks are, I mean, I think they realize they still have good people on their team that can jump up and bite you. I think it was just that first game back, everybody was knocking the rust off. I don't know that they necessarily took them for granted, so to speak. It was different. You're playing no crowd. It's like all these elements that everybody had to process.
A lot of moving parts.
Right. And then once the game gets started, there's no reason to doubt you. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like they were playing at a level. So if you thought it for 2 seconds, then you obviously come out of that next period and you're changing it. One of the things I should have asked him is, does he think there can be that player on the Blackhawks that can be, besides the ones we know, like, you know, Taves and Kane and things like that, you know, can we look at someone like Kubalik and say, if he has a big game, can this be the series where Kubalik steps up to that next level? And can he be something that could propel them to what he talked about, a 5-game series, getting that type of play from him?
Yeah. Kubalik, yeah, you're muted. You're muted, Ivan.
You just gotta keep clicking it. It sounds like something you should be worried about, Kubalik.
I personally just like saying his name because it's fly. Kubalik. That's a fly name. No, but really, I meant to ask him that because there has to be something more than just looking at that older core. Like you said, you know, Kirby Dachi's not there yet, but Kubalik has shown that he can have those flashes of playing at a higher level. So is he going to be that factor that needs to step his game up if you're talking about taking this to a 5-game series? That's all. I'm just looking for, is there that X factor that we don't know is there, so to speak? Yeah.
Who's going to step up? Who's going to show and prove and say, hey, listen, I've arrived. And, you know, if Kubalik keeps doing what he's doing, that he could be that guy. So hopefully he is that guy, because I think that would be awesome to finally get him. I have another guy because we have Patrick Kane. My captain's been playing very well. Brandon Saad scored a goal. We need to break it a little more. Okay, Dylan Strome scored a goal. So we're getting the production we're getting from our quote unquote stars. This is where you shine. Yeah. This is where superstars make their name. This is where superstars make their name or reinforce their reputation. Okay, it is the playoffs. And if you want to make your name, this is where you do it. And there's no better series than a hockey series to make your name or to reinforce who you are, who the league thinks you are. And I think this, you know, here's a great chance for these young guys to come up and do that. Well, listen, we got to take a quick break, because on the other side of the break, we got our guy Robert Schmitz. We're going to do a little Bears talk. Yes. Woo-wee. We're going to talk about him, with him and the quarterback situation, the offensive line situation, the wide receiver situation.
How about just the situation?
There's just a whole tons of situations making up one big situation called the Chicago Bears. So don't go anywhere, folks. Robert Schmitz from Windy City Gridiron coming up next right here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago.
BoomerNaturals.com presents the Sports Flash on 1330 and 95.9 The Zone.
Deep fly ball to left. This ball's got a chance. Long gone. Tape measure time for Wilson Contreras. Halfway up the bleachers in left center. His second of the year, and the Cubs now lead by a score of 5-2.
Cubs radio with the call. Wilson Contreras with the blast. 5-4, the win over the Royals. The White Sox beat Milwaukee 3-2. Lucas Giolito, 9 strikeouts over 6 innings. He gave up 2 runs on 4 hits. Jose Abreu singled home the winning run in the 7th. NHL qualifying round action continues tonight. The Blackhawks take on the Oilers. The series tied at 1 game apiece in the best of 5. It's a 9:30 Central puck drop on NBCSN. Boomer Naturals, your source for 3-layer protective face masks. Breathable protection for adults and kids. Save 20% with promo code SPORTS at BoomerNaturals.com. Chuck Sanders, that's the Sports Flash, 1330 95.9 The Zone.
O'Reilly
O'Reilly Auto Parts can help make your auto maintenance easier. So when your car isn't stopping like it used to, our professional parts people will help you find the brake parts and supplies to do the job right the first time. Right now, get 15% off a set of brake vest pads and 2 rotors, plus O'Reilly Brake Cleaner, 2 for $5. Stop by or visit O'ReillyAuto.com today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Have you wanted to speak a new language, but thought it would be too difficult? Then try Babbel. Babbel starts by teaching you words and phrases that gradually get more complex. Soon, you're practicing short conversations. So in 15 minutes a day, you'll be speaking a new language in a few weeks. Babbel is built around real life. It teaches you practical conversations that you will actually use. Babbel, language for life. Now try Babbel for free. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a language today. That's Babbel.com.
Hey guys, it's your boy, the Superback Shawn Sierra, and I want to talk to you about my good friends over at the Hispanic Business Network, Carmen and Rogelio. They're having their annual golf outing on Friday, August 7th at Carriage Greens Country Club in Darien. The proceeds benefit Hispanic Business Network Scholarship Fund for first-generation college students. Now, you've already been on the course many a time this year, so your clubs are ready to golf for a good cause. And by the look of it, it sounds like you're going to call in sick on Friday, August 7th. So listen, to register your foursome, go to the website, hbn-chicago.com. Or if you'd just like to donate, go to the website, again, hbn-chicago.com, and click on the donate button. Plus, Shawn and Maya will be broadcasting live from the Carriage Greens Country Club for the event, where we'll have surprise celebrity guests throughout the show. So listen, make plans to attend the Hispanic Business Network annual golf outing on Friday, August 7th at Carriage Greens Country Club in Darien. So to register your foursome or to just donate, go to hbn-chicago.com. Once again, hbn-chicago.com. So don't meet us there, beat us there. Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago on this Hump Day edition. Maya, you're loving this weather, huh? They're going to be high 70s, to low 80s. Nice. Oh, you're muted. You're muted, Ma.
I mute myself to hide the background noise of my rowdy cats because for some reason, yeah, they're trying to make an appearance on the show. They're clowning today, so I figured I had to mute them out. Like, okay, you're not going to embarrass me like that. So yes, no, this is old woman weather. I love it. I can go out running, biking, and not go into like an absolutely overheat. So I think this is how weather should always be when I'm at home. Now, when I travel, which obviously is happening no time soon, I'm okay with hot weather. But when I'm at home, I don't want to be hot. No, this is perfect weather for me. It's perfect weather.
Okay. I like it hot, regardless.
No.
I don't mind. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the seasons. And since they've been playing with the weather the last few years, I love the seasons. I love spring. I love fall. Because you get to wear. I'm a fashionista. I love. I got swag. I love spring clothes. You know what I mean? I love wearing fashion. So I like to wear a little nice jacket in the fall, and or maybe my athletic little mock up. You know what I'm saying? So, but summertime, get the linen going. That's what I'm talking about, Maya. Linen. Yes. Anyway, this has been a break. My mom loves this weather. Oh my gosh, she loves it.
See?
Woman weather. You're right.
My hair don't frizz out. I don't get all extra afro out because it's too hot outside. So yeah, this is perfect weather for my hair.
Oh well, listen. Our next guest is a good friend of the program, and man, I'm looking forward to talking to him. He works for Windy City Gridiron, and I'm telling you, if you have not checked out his YouTube channel. Okay, he breaks down, and for a guy who hasn't played football in college or professionally or done, his breakdowns are very, very, very good. I've been impressed with the caliber of his breakdowns. You're gonna have to check out his breakdowns. Make sure you follow you go follow him on YouTube. You can find him on Twitter at Robert K. Schmitz. Guys, let's welcome back to Shawn and Maya, Robert Schmitz. Robert, what's up, Papa? How are you?
Hey, I'm doing well. How about yourself? So I got to tell you, because talking about the weather, so I'm up here visiting my father-in-law in Indiana, And wow, this is so much different than my home state of Texas.
Oh,
seeing out here in the summer, it's 60-ish. I was just hitting golf balls. It was really nice outside. We get vaporized back home. This is it. I can see why people love it up here.
Well, that's until we get to winter.
And then the snow comes in the blizzard.
True that.
And then it's like a different, even though our winters have been very mild, to tell you the truth. Like, it hasn't gotten as cold as it used to been. We don't get like dumps of snow. So to be honest, even our winters are not that bad. But that's the one thing that people usually say, oh, I'll avoid Chicago in the wintertime because it's cold. But it hasn't been too bad. But you're right, our summers are nice. They're very easy, very bearable.
Mm-hmm.
Where in Indiana did you say you were?
I'm over here in Zionsville. It's right near Indianapolis, or near.
So you're a bit more mid. Okay.
Remember, our big cities are 3.5 hours away from each other. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So kind of like mid. Okay. All right.
Central Indiana.
Right.
Okay. Oh, good stuff, man. Good stuff. I forgot. I didn't. You told me you were at your. You weren't home. But I didn't ask you last night when I was talking to you where you were at. But that's cool. Yeah. So enjoying this weather. That's awesome.
Cool.
But you know what?
The game.
Well, what I hope to enjoy is some football weather at a stadium. So talk to us about this NFL season, man. What are your thoughts? So many people have opted out already.
Mm-hmm.
2 Chicago Bears have opted out. How do you think, before we get to the actual players, and how do you think this? Do you think the season will start and finish in its entirety?
Truth be told, I can't project the finish. What I can guess is that I think it's going to start. I mean, why wouldn't it, right? The NFL has so much money invested in making football happen that compared to, say, college, where I know that the college athletes have to deal with the school's pressure of are they going to bring on regular students or not, the NFL doesn't have that issue. They're able to say, you want to come get your money? Please, feel free to. We will do our best to make a season happen. And again, I don't know. I mean, hey, if they get to week 5 and 120 players have gotten COVID, things are probably going to shut down. But if they get to week 5 or 6 and that hasn't happened, we're only at maybe 10 or hopefully 0 cases that are new, they're going to keep playing ball until they have to stop. And for Chicago, if I was going to go through and talk about the players that haven't opted out, I think the biggest story isn't Eddie Goldman's opt out. It's the fact that Nick Foles didn't opt out. I don't know whether Mitch has taken the strides in the offseason that we always have hoped he has. I have no idea. And having Nick Foles there as that backup quarterback, of which we know what he can do. I don't mean to just harp on the fact that he won a Super Bowl in Philadelphia, but the year afterwards in 2018, he had some incredible performances against the Texans, against the Rams, and so on and so forth. So having him in there as a safety net was huge. There was legitimate thought and a rumor that circulated around Twitter that he was considering opting out with the birth of his second child. And to be totally honest with you, I'm very glad he didn't. And hopefully we'll see not a ton of Bears players opt out. I think Thursday is the deadline. They confirmed that yesterday. Yep. But it's Tuesday. We've only got Goldman so far. And hopefully the rest of the team just stays on, Well,
the safety they signed, he opted out. So we have 2 Bears players. And what are your thoughts? Because New Orleans actually decided they created their own bubble, so they're going to be at a hotel. Do you think that's feasible for the other teams in the NFL? Because you see it's working in the NBA. Unless you want to go to a strip joint for chicken wings, it's working pretty well. But is that feasible? Is that something that more NFL teams should do? Because I think there's 1 or 2 hotels in and around Chicago or at Lake Forest where the Bears practice.
I think they're going to have to. I mean, I am not a public health expert, but what I can say is that
you play one on TV?
Right? If any one person gets COVID-19 on these teams, I mean, it's football. They hit each other. That is the name of the game. So it becomes an immediate danger to the entire team. And we've already seen what happened with the Lions. Matt Stafford got a positive COVID test. And then a couple days later, 2 of them came back negative, and now they're claiming it was a false positive. The point being not that that's not to say that testing is hit and miss. What I'm pointing out is teams are going to do everything they can to avoid losing a player right before a big game. Let me dress up the scenario. Let's say the Bears are playing the Packers about halfway through the season. They've got a nice record so far, 6-3, but one loss puts them pretty far back in the division. And then, surprise, Khalil Mack has a positive COVID-19 test on Saturday night, and now he can't go in the next game. These are the situations that nobody wants to deal with, right? And so they're going to do everything they can to keep these players out.
And that's if nothing else, they have to be looking at the fact that the NBA, NHL, relatively the bubble concept works.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Trying to limit as much exposure as you can, so to speak. So one of the advantages, I think, for the NFL is that, one, you're not playing as many games as frequently, which means from a testing standpoint, you're able to test in a window that most other teams can't test in.
Right.
So if they want to kind of have a pseudo bubble, it would be, okay, so you play on Sunday, you maybe have to come into the bubble on Friday. You know what I'm saying? You get tested, come into the bubble. There's actually two different types of tests that exist. And I'm not sure which one they're using. There's a rapid test, and that's the one that can tend to be inaccurate and not detect COVID. And there's something called a high sensitivity PCR, which is the accurate test. It's all about timing.
Is that the swab? Is that the nose swab, Maya? The high accuracy?
Well, yeah, they're both nasal, but the difference, like with the rapid, is it's more like a quick flu swab, so it doesn't go as far back. It's called nasopharyngeal. It's when it goes deep into. Yeah, I work in the industry, so unfortunately,
I got you.
It goes really deep. That's the uncomfortable one, but that's the most accurate one. So what the NFL could do is say, we need you to come in on Friday. You got to stay in the bubble until the game on Sunday. You know what I'm saying? And then they test them, get the test back before. So the good thing is you're not putting anybody out in the field that's tested positive for COVID. I'm really the Stafford thing confuses me, because that's the first I've ever heard of getting a positive and you're not. That's odd. Because then to me, the next test you could then do a blood test would say you would have a viral load that would be in your blood. So I don't know. That's an odd outcome, which makes me feel like, did someone, not properly test? Was there a confusion in the test? That's the first I've legitimately heard of a false positive. And I've heard of people testing negative because of when they were swabbed, didn't have enough viral load to actually show the virus. But I've never heard of the opposite, so to speak. So that whole thing right there to me is a little odd.
It's pretty strange. I'll tell you, I'm no expert on the matter. Last I heard about it is that Stafford apparently had enough COVID-19 present in him to register on the test, but not enough to count as infected, which to me, I'll tell you, I'm an engineer in school. I did not study viruses. I don't know the difference. But he and his family have sworn they haven't come in contact with anybody. The joke I keep making with my wife is that it would be great if COVID-19 turned your skin purple or something. Something that told us whether we had it. But I think the biggest trouble with all this going into the football season is that nobody really knows. And I could sit here, the next breakdown I'm working on is talking about Tariq Cohen, for instance. And my biggest fear is that before I get done, the season's over. And because that's going to suck all the football attitude out of everybody. And it's wild because football has been so important to how we carry on in fall. I know it's like what I kind of schedule fall around. So if football doesn't happen, that's going to really break a lot of people's hearts. And I think they're going to do everything they can to make it at least happen in some capacity,
Shawn,
I think you're muted. No, I don't even know how I got muted. We're joined by Robert Smith from Windy City Gridiron.
You probably cursed it was.
It could be. Right here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago. Your thoughts? You said you're. Go ahead, Maya. You got a question?
No. I said, you're right in regards to just to add into what complicates everything is if players are asymptomatic, it means there's not anything about their health that warrants to make you think they actually have COVID. So to be honest, Stafford could have been asymptomatic the entire time, and maybe it's just at the end of it. That could be the other thing too.
Totally could have.
So that's that other dynamic that, the testing piece is so important that you test no matter what consistently before games to try to ensure that you're not putting people in contact with each other.
The Patriots, the Bears only have two, and I hope no other guys opt out, which is their right. And I get it, especially if you have a kid or if you take care of parents and, people who are in very, very high risk situations. I get it. I get it completely. Can they do something to manipulate the system? Is it possible? Because you're going to get if you're deemed to get to be in a high risk category, you get $350. Okay, that's a stipend. It has nothing to do with your salary. So it's just a $350,000. Bam, thank you very much. If they don't consider you high risk and you still opt out, you get $150. You get $150,000. Could somebody be like, you know what? I don't know if I'm going to make the team, so I'm going to opt out.
You certainly can. I know one thing that occurs to me. There's two sides to this coin, right? So the NFL is such a results-driven league that there are some of these guys out there, let's say they're 27 years old, and they have been on roster bubbles for eons and eons, but they make a difference as a special team player. You take a year off, and now you've got to prove it that much more in 2021. A lot of these guys think about it. Let's take Nick Foles, for instance. He's, I think, my favorite case that I've relayed to a whole bunch of other people. He just had a child, and his wife is immunocompromised. Seems like a no-brainer, right? You don't want to be around COVID, so you've got to opt out. But he's also 31 years old. He's a borderline fringe starting quarterback, and he's got a legitimate shot at winning a quarterback competition and making a name for himself once again in Chicago. So you can't pass that opportunity up either, you know?
And the millions of dollars he's getting too.
Exactly. But that would, in theory, toll over to next year. But if he plays really well, he could, in theory, again, opt out of his Chicago contract and sign starter money again, similar to Jacksonville. So there are literally millions of dollars on the line for a guy like Foles, where $350,000 might not mean what losing that 31-year-old season is, going back in as a 32-year-old and beyond and trying to remake your name in the NFL. It's bizarre because you could almost say it's cruel to some of these guys. Somebody like Goldman, he's able to toll his contract to 2021 knowing he has $4.5 million waiting for him. That's a lot to keep yourself comfortable should things go totally wrong. But there are plenty of these other guys. I keep thinking about it. Guys like Sherrick McManus, another Bear, just for a name. He needs to prove he's worth keeping every year he's in the NFL. And that means not skipping a season, even for a virus that has caused as much hubbub as COVID-19. I mean, the pandemic is shutting the world down and these guys' careers are on the line. It has been bizarre to follow the opt-out process because there are some people that are putting football over family and some people putting family over football, and it's their choice to make. But it is a lesson in watching people in the middle of a rock and a hard place, you know?
I would like to believe for the people who choose to play. Obviously, they've sat down to talk with their family, weighed out risk versus benefit, so to speak. Because the crazy thing about COVID is this. It is so unpredictable about how it impacts people. Some people get COVID and it's nothing. Other people get COVID and obviously it can result in death. It's such a wide gamut. And even in the high risk situation, do you realize some of those people get it and still walk away okay? That's because it's a virus that we don't know so much about. And we won't know enough about this until it's closed and we can legitimately research the data and say, we have to look at the totality of its impact to understand what we've really dealt with. And, we better cross our fingers that it's nothing like, the Spanish flu of 1918. That raged for 2 years. And people had to rethink how they did things. So I think it's so important. I'm going to make the assumption that people who decided to play, talk with their family, and maybe they're the ones like, okay, but we're going to take some safe precautions and put in place to make sure that we can do this right. Because this may be a new normal that we may have to contend with for another year. I hate to make people afraid to say that, but it very well could happen. So it's interesting that, I'll be honest, there's a lot of money at stake. We're not talking about these. We're not talking about, mediocre pay. We're talking about for someone who's got that cushion of millions of dollars because they've been in the league, they may decide to opt out. But for that younger player that doesn't have that kind of money put to the side, I bet you they'll rethink.
I'll see you in a couple months.
I tell you what, I bet you people will stop making it rain for a while because they want to go back and get all that rain money. But with that being said, I think a lot of younger players that don't have that type of financial security will probably consider playing. And if you're on the bubble of you don't feel like you're locked and loaded in your position, do you really want someone to step into your role and all of a sudden shine? And now you become expendable? Because we know this is a league where you can be expendable. So there's a lot of variables that have to be considered if you're that player that's proven financially, but also as a player on a team.
Take, for instance, just to totally pile onto your point, take John Jenkins, Bilal Nichols, and Roy Robertson-Harris. Eddie Goldman has now opted out, so somebody's got to play that spot right next to Akeem Hicks. And let's be really honest, guys. Akeem Hicks has a habit of making the guy next to him look really, really good. And if you look really good and hit free agency, that is money. You can double, triple, multiply your contract by 5, like Nick Williams, who just signed for what? $5-6 million with the Lions after being a relative no-name. Some people thought he was going to get cut coming into 2019's Chicago season. He ends up making quite a boatload of money. So you better believe those guys have a very, very good reason not to opt out, because whether or not the 2020 championship has an asterisk next to it, the stats count. And if you walk in and you pull out, I don't know, 16 tackles for loss, 5 sacks. You get the idea. Good production right next to Akeem Hicks in a 2020 defense that, guys, it looks really dangerous even without Eddie Goldman on it. Then you could end up turning that into a major payday and making that work for you. That is really, really it's too much to pass up for some people, undoubtedly.
This might be that season that we may see a lot of things that were under the surface, players that had potential. This might be a breakout year for a lot of players that were on that bubble. You know, for as much as we talk about the dire straits that COVID-19 has put some people in, believe it or not, it's been opportunity abound for others. There are a lot of people, I know this sounds crazy because we only hear about the negative. There's a lot of people who have thrived in COVID-19 for different reasons because of their approach to it. So it's about your situation. What could happen, like you just said, with the Bears, Akeem Hicks only tends to make you look better opposed to worse. You know what I'm saying? So you got to really weigh it out. Like, is it advantageous for me to show up, and to do this, with obviously a lot of precautions put in place to make sure I stay healthy and safe?
One of the guys you said you were doing a feature on is a guy that was a little MIA last year, and I don't know why Matt Nagy had a problem using him, and that's Tariq Cohen. Give me your thoughts on him. Do you expect him to come back with a big year, or do you expect or is Matt Nagy gonna have a problem finding a way to use this utility knife? This, you know what I mean? Because in 2018 he was all over the place. He was a Pro Bowler, and last year he just couldn't get going. How do you think the use of Tariq Cohen is going to change this year?
So here's what's crazy about Cohen, and I'm going to give you and your audience the full sneak peek on everything I'm about to say right here.
Ooh,
so
nice.
Here's the gist, right? I think Tariq Cohen is the perfect story in the NFL of how not everything is under your control, and a lot of external factors can change the way you're viewed almost no matter what happens. So in 2018, Tariq Cohen, he wasn't an unknown, but his 2017 season was better regarded by Bears fans than it was a lot of the rest of the league. He comes in 2018 and, like you're saying, has over 1,000 combined yards, not to mention the Pro Bowl berth for punt returning. He's everywhere. He's all over highlight reels. He's a Madden impact player, just to pick something out. Everybody knows who Tariq Cohen is. And in 2019, he got all the focus. Like defenses, I remember at one point, Troy Aikman got caught on a broadcast talking about how Dennis Allen, the Saints defensive coordinator, said, if there's one guy we want to stop, it's Tariq Cohen. And you can see across defenses the way Vic Fangio played, the way the Packers played the Bears, the way all these other defenses lined up. They basically dared the Bears to throw deep and said, you aren't going to get this ball to Cohen. We will not allow it. And I've got so much film where you can see 2-3 defenders all jumping towards Cohen specifically whenever he runs a route, because it was all that mattered. Or loading up the box with literally 10 men, like Landon Collins at one point just steps right into a hole that got created for Tariq Cohen, because they're just not going to let him make plays against them. And let's be honest, the Bears had serious issues throwing deep. We had tons of deep incompletions, whether it was due to quarterback inaccuracy, issues not finding the right man, misreading leverage downfield, or receivers running into the wrong place, drops. All sorts of issues kept the Bears from being successful throwing deep, and you started to see defenses line up 6 guys about 10 yards off the ball and just wait in a shallow zone for the Bears to try something short. When they did, they snuffed it out. And this meant that Tariq Cohen who had, I believe, the third most targets out of all running backs in 2019. He had the fifth most catches. He still had a whole bunch of yards, like seventh, technically, according to receiving running backs. The point is that from a volumetric perspective, there's no denying Tariq Cohen is a major player in this Bears offense, but he was also the one that I saw defenses take away the most, despite the fact that his routes, like even when he's running decoy routes, he's opening up tons of room for other receivers. And whether it's Mitch or whether it's Nick Foles, if a quarterback can use him to find those open areas of the field, I think we're going to see the Bears be more successful throwing the ball downfield. And when they are, Tariq Cohen's running lanes are going to open up, because as we've seen, guys, all he needs is a couple inches, and he can make guys wave in the air when it comes to breaking tackles.
So let me ask you this. You said whether it's Mitch or whether it's Nick. I tend to believe that there's a clear distinction between who it is to be able to give him those few inches that he needs to have the kind of impact that you're talking about. So in your mind, do you feel that Mitch can do this, though he should have some form of chemistry with him? Or legitimately, are we talking about the progression and evolution of Tariq Cohen really hinges on the fact of having a better quarterback in the pocket like Nick Foles?
So it's all about decision-making, right? And one of the hallmarks of Nick Foles is quick decision-making. If you watch any of his Eagles tape, it's clear the guy makes these quick West Coast offense decisions in a split second and gets the ball out. It's part of why guys like, I can never remember his first name, but Coleman, the running back on the Eagles, Darren Sproles, Westbrook. No, it's not Westbrook, but Smallwood, Wendell Smallwood. All these other running backs that have gone in and out of Philadelphia when Nick Foles has come under center have actually produced better than they did under Carson Wentz. And Carson Wentz is a really good quarterback. So I think that says a lot about the way Foles plays. Here's what I will always say, because this is, I think, the closest I'll come to an olive branch on Mitch Trubisky. Mitch, without a doubt, has more physical talent than Nick Foles. Nick Foles is a statue in the pocket. He manages it well, and he plays well under pressure. He's more than willing to take a hit, and frankly, that's part of why he gets hurt as often as he does, is he's almost too tough for his own body's good. But if Mitch comes in and he displays that mental acumen that we've been dying to see for eons and eons, then yeah, Mitch is the no-brainer starter. But if he doesn't, if he comes in and he's still late on a lot of his throws, if he's misreading coverage, if he's getting fooled by this and that, if he's skittish in the pocket again, I mean, it's got to be Foles, right? At least we know where Foles' floor is. I don't think he's going to get worse given the way he's played in these West Coast offenses in the past. And frankly, if I could be honest with you, he got injured so early in Jacksonville that I don't think we saw the Nick Foles that the Bears are probably going to be getting. He's now had time to heal from that collarbone. Every medical paper I've ever read says that collarbones heal naturally, so it should be as strong as it was, even though he's broken it now twice. So again, it's all on how Mitch has grown. And if he's grown a lot, then great. And if he hasn't moved much, I would pick Foles, and I think Cohen's going to benefit from it.
Guys, that's Robert Smith from Windy City Gridiron. Man, great breakdown. You have to follow his YouTube page. His breakdown is one of the better ones that I've seen in a long, long time.
Thank you so much, Shawn.
Dude, I follow you. I love that. I can't wait to see your breakdowns. I love it. Do me a favor, let everyone know where they can find you in addition to YouTube online.
Absolutely. So you can find my YouTube channel at Run Pass Opinion, spelled like it sounds, RPO for short. That's where I do tons of my Bears breakdowns. And then over at WindyCityGridiron.com, I have a podcast. That's where I post plenty of other film breakdowns. Frankly, I got to be honest, with football season starting, my motivation's higher than ever. It was tough throughout this offseason because I kept thinking the season was going to get canceled. And I was like, what a bummer to put a bunch of mental energy into football and have it disappear for a year. But it hasn't. Now we're starting. Green light, and we are good to go. So excited to get back to work.
Hey, thanks a lot, Robert. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for having me on.
All right.
All right.
See you later.
Guys, you have to go follow Robert Smith. His breakdown is pretty darn good for a guy who hasn't played football. Like, I'm extremely impressed. I'd be impressed if it was a guy who had played football at a high level. His is pretty good. Well, listen, we got to take a quick break, and on the other side of the break, we're going back to high school. Yes, prep time. They got two state-winning championship football coaches. Talk about the situation with the spring, with the football season getting switched to the spring. That causes a lot of issues for a lot of kids. So we're going to talk to Todd Kuska, my former teammate at St. Rita High School and the current head coach over at St. Rita, and Jordan Lynch, the current Mount Carmel head coach as well, and see what how their programs are dealing with this new football season in the spring. So don't go anywhere, folks. Todd Kuska and Jordan Lynch coming up next right here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago.
BoomerNaturals.com presents the Sports Flash on 1330 and 95.9 The Zone.
Deep fly ball to left. This ball's got a chance. Long gone. Tape measure time for Wilson Contreras. Halfway up the bleachers in left center. His second of the year, and the Cubs now lead by a score of 5-2.
Cubs radio with the call. Wilson Contreras with the blast. 5-4, the win over the Royals. The White Sox beat Milwaukee 3-2. Lucas Giolito, 9 strikeouts over 6 innings. He gave up 2 runs on 4 hits. Jose Abreu singled home the winning run in the 7th. NHL qualifying round action continues tonight. The Blackhawks take on the Oilers. The series tied at 1 game apiece in the best of 5. It's a 9:30 Central puck drop on NBCSN. Boomer Naturals, your source for 3-layer protective face masks. Breathable protection for adults and kids. Save 20% with promo code SPORTS at BoomerNaturals.com. Chuck Sanders, that's the Sports Flash, 1330 95.9 The Zone.
O'Reilly Auto Parts can help make your auto maintenance easier. So when your car isn't stopping like it used to, our professional parts people will help you find the brake parts and supplies to do the job right the first time. Right now, get 15% off a set of brake vest pads and 2 rotors, plus O'Reilly Brake Cleaner, 2 for $5. Stop by or visit O'ReillyAuto.com today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Have you wanted to speak a new language, but thought it would be too difficult? Then try Babbel. Babbel starts by teaching you words and phrases that gradually get more complex. Soon, you're practicing short conversations. So in 15 minutes a day, you'll be speaking a new language in a few weeks. Babbel is built around real life. It teaches you practical conversations that you will actually use. Babbel, language for life. Now try Babbel for free. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a language today. That's BABBEL.com.
Hey guys, it's your boy, the Superback Shawn Sierra, and I want to talk to you about my good friends over at the Hispanic Business Network, Carmen and Rogelio. They're having their annual golf outing on Friday, August 7th at Carriage Greens Country Club in Darien. The proceeds benefit Hispanic Business Network Scholarship Fund for first-generation college students. Now, you've already been on the course many a time this year, so your clubs are ready to golf for a good cause. And by the look of it, it sounds like you're going to call in sick on Friday, August 7th. So listen, to register your foursome, go to the website, hbn-chicago.com. Or if you'd just like to donate, go to the website, again, hbn-chicago.com, and click on the donate button. Plus, Shawn and Maya will be broadcasting live from the Carriage Greens Country Club for the event, where we'll have surprise celebrity guests throughout the show. So listen, make plans to attend the Hispanic Business Network annual golf outing on Friday, August 7th at Carriage Greens Country Club in Darien. So to register your foursome or to just donate, go to hbn-chicago.com. Once again, hbn-chicago.com. So don't meet us there, beat us there. Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago. And our next guests are 2 guys that I know very well. You know, the IHSA came down with a ruling where they decided to postpone, and not cancel, but postpone fall sports and push them to the spring season. And that means for quite a few different sports, and football being the main sport in the fall was one of those affected. So I want to bring these guys on. These guys have powerhouse programs, and see what they're doing and how they're adjusting to this situation. On as a former teammate of mine at St. Rita High School, he's currently the head coach over at Rita, a good friend of mine, Todd Kuska. Todd, what's up, buddy? How are you?
Good, Shawn. How are you doing? Thanks for having me on. Well. It's neat being on here, and good to talk high school football. For it's been a while since we've done this.
It is. It is. And the next guy we have on, I want to bring on, he is the coach of our arch rival of Mount Carmel High School. He went to Northern Illinois and won a state championship last year. And he's Jordan Lynch. Jordan, what's up, buddy? How are you?
The super back. What's going on, man? Thanks for having me this morning. Coach Kuska, how you doing?
Good. How are you doing, Jordan? Good to see you.
Good. You too. Hanging in there.
Good. So yeah, let's get it cracking. So what was the feeling around the program? All right, when it was announced, because I know there were some rumors while you guys were practicing. There were some rumors. Okay, they might shut it down. They won't. They will. They won't. They will. But when the hammer finally dropped, what was the feeling around the program for the kids when the football season was switched this spring, Coach Kuska?
Well, I think we kind of felt, at least as coaches, that this was going to possibly be something that would happen. That I didn't think we were going to be able to get through the whole season. I know the kids are disappointed, obviously, because it's something different. But I'm looking at it from years and years of being around, that this is going to give us an opportunity to actually have some type of a season. Whereas if we entered into this, next week like we were supposed to, there was no guarantee that we were going to make it through anything. So, kids are disappointed that they're not going to have a regular, fall season that we've been used to. And, but I think they're also beginning to look at it as, hey, but we are at least have a chance to hopefully get out there and play. And that's the way we're taking it. How the season's going to go, it's still kind of up in the air a little bit with the IHSA, how many games, things like that. But it's football, and we might have to shift our focus on goals of what do we want to do, what's the most important thing. But right now I said, we're going to play football on Cronin Field this year, and that's the important thing that we got to look at it. So disappointment, but, reality.
Coach Lynch?
Yeah, that's kind of the same vibe we were getting. I know we started practice in July when they gave us 20 contact days, and every day, every step closer, we kept getting excited, but we're just kind of sitting back, waiting for the news, and eventually ended up coming at the end of July. But I rather push the season to spring too, to be honest with you, because the last thing I would want for these seniors is to get 2 games into the season and they end up canceling, and now there's no season at all. Just being a competitor and having all these kids, a lot of seniors coming back, it kind of sucks to wait the springtime because you're anxious and you want to get out there. And but you know what, it might end up being best for some of these kids to get a few months in the weight room and get some fall practices in, and we'll be locked and loaded, ready to go for March.
So how long have you been out there, Jordan, before they gave the announcement?
Yeah, so they gave us 20 contact days. We ended up using about 2.5 weeks or so, which is, only about 8 or 9 practices for us. So we used those. We got, some good quality practices. Then they ended up, giving us the news. I think it was on a Wednesday morning or so. So we ended up finishing up practice that Wednesday morning and broke the kids off and, messaged them through Huddle and told them we'll see them, back in August when school starts. So it's and kind of going forward, you want to get back to the team, but you got to give them some time too. You got to give them some time. You can't wear them out. It's still a long ways away before the season starts. So, like I said, being a competitor, you're anxious and you're chomping at the bit, but you just got to keep being patient.
Football players, we are some of the most, we have our rituals, and we're very programmed. And during the summers we train, and we get ready for everything else for the season. Then in the springtime is when we're working out. How have your kids, Coach Kuska, how have you been able to keep their spirits up? Because if you're a senior, man, and it didn't get canceled, but it got postponed. And have you been able to keep their spirits up? Because some guys had worked to this off season, had been running, been training, been lifting in the summer, and then it gets postponed because we're supposed to be playing football right about now. You're in practices now, and now it's like especially these kids who have who have an attention span of a fly. They're supposed to be doing something now. They don't know what to do. How have you been able to keep these kids positive and really focused toward the spring?
Well, same thing as Jordan said. We actually wrapped up camp. We got about 2 weeks of practices that we are allowed to do in middle of July. So we had been off for a week or two before they made this announcement. So we kind of expected, and I wrapped it up camp with those guys saying, hey, do what you can do to make sure that we can have a season, and that's by staying safe, following the precautions and things. And we'll see what happens. So it happened. We got the announcement, and I've been communicating through Huddle with those guys and texting some of the other guys. So they're disappointed. We're gonna touch base again. We're opening up school in 2 weeks, or less than 2 weeks, August 17th. So we'll have a chance to kind of address them personally a little bit more on those days of, hey, we're going to have more summer camp. We're going to have 20 days starting September 7th to get back out there and work a little bit. And, the way I put it, same thing that Coach Lynch said, think of how much bigger, faster, and stronger we can get now with so much more time in the weight room. And it's going to be different. I'm kind of excited for the change, this was thrown out a while ago, and I think the state of Ohio did this about 2 months ago, and it kind of intrigued me, coaching football in the spring. Normally we start off, the weather's beautiful, we're in shorts and polos, and we finish in parkas and hats and gloves, and now, February 15th, I'm sure it'll be 2 feet of snow on the ground. We'll be practicing, and we'll finish in shorts and polos and T-shirts, so it's going to be different. But I think as Coach Lynn said too, kids want to play football, and for a lot of the guys, this may be the last chance that they play football. They just want to have a good experience, and we're going to try and do everything we can to give them that great experience that's playing, at St. Rita in the Catholic League, and in front of hopefully some great fans and crowds, and hopefully that's something that we can have, by pushing this back. I think that keeps that as a possibility. But every day changes. Every day is going to change, and we just got to roll with the punches here. Kids are having to be asked to grow up real quick and deal with some real life instances here about changes in life, and we're just excited to get the opportunity that hopefully we can get a season off.
Guys, I'm joined by Todd Kuska, head coach of St. Rita High School, and Jordan Lynch, the head coach of Mount Carmel High School, here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago. So, Jordan, how is this going to affect recruiting? Okay, I know the Ivy League has pushed their league to the spring, and I know a lot of players from both of your schools actually go Ivy or have the grades at least looked at by Ivy, but some of the other schools haven't. The Big Ten just released their schedule today. They're going to be playing in the fall. How is it going to affect recruiting for some of your kids?
Yeah, that's that's a part where I feel bad for some of these seniors, especially the kids that have aspirations of playing Division I football. Because this 2021 class, I reached out to a few college coaches, and for them to get recruited in the springtime, it's going to be a hard chance for those 2021 kids with no offers to get recruited in the springtime. I think the kids that are Division II and Division III kids, it might hurt them a little bit, but I think those schools will always be around for those kids. But you know what, the college coaches are going to have a season. They'll they're going to be in the school. They're going to see some of the kids work out live, and they're going to have to evaluate them that way. Some of those, seniors, the 2021 kids. So I'm sure they're going to, they'll find a way to either push back signing day or do something to have a combine for these kids, or we're going to try to get pretty creative over at Mount Carmel and put together a little combine, for the kids, the 2021 kids, and kind of send them to all the colleges and make sure we give them every opportunity also for these kids to get recruited.
How's it going to affect some of the guys, Coach Kuska? Do you have any guys who play two sports? I'm sure you do. So you get a guy who's a good football player, but a much better baseball player or a much better basketball player, or how is it going to affect those? Are those kids just going to have to? But yet they are very vital to your season this year. Talk to me about that. How are you going to navigate that situation?
Well, I think those two sport guys are still going to have the opportunity to play two sports. The one good thing that I think the IHSA did was they did not kind of infringe upon the seasons. They didn't combine sports. The spring sports are now the summer sports, the fall sports, with the exception of golf and cross country and like girls swimming, stuff like that. Those are now up in the fall here. So the football, baseball guys, they're still going to have their seasons. We're going to be closer together. Obviously those baseball is going to start, and lacrosse. We've got some guys, Mike Gaughan, our linebacker, is a great lacrosse player. Those guys are going to roll right into lacrosse after football. So no different than the football, wrestling, the football, basketball guys had to do in years past. It's just a little different sport. And having, Coach Nee, who's my offensive line coach, being a head baseball coach, that the programs work well together, and it's going to be different. But like I said, those guys that want to play high school football, they're still gonna continue to play. I have not heard from anybody that football is not going to be an option for them anymore or anything like that. I think as Coach Lynch said, for the Division I guys, it throws a curveball at them a little bit for the recruitment wise. Division II, Division III it'll be a little different, but we'll still handle that. But these guys still want to play football, and the majority of guys playing football aren't going to be high profile football players. They're playing it for the love of the game and for high school and to be with their buddies and stuff. And so they're still going to have that experience, but I haven't heard anybody contemplating switching or going to just one sport now because they're going to be closer together. So, it's going to be different, and it's going to be a learning process for everybody. But it's still going to give them an opportunity to do everything they want to do. So we encourage that. We want guys to play multiple sports. I always have, and I think it's a great thing, but it'll be a little more difficult for some of them, but it's still going to be, the opportunities are there for them.
It'll make a man out of you. No.
yeah, definitely.
And I'm going to ask both of you. Let's start with you, Jordan. Did you have anybody? Because JJ McCarthy kind of set the tone when he decided to transfer and go down to IMG down in Florida, and then a couple of other kids. I believe one of his NAS teammates actually decided to transfer out of state as well to play football because not all states are playing in the spring. Okay, Illinois is one of them, but I think the majority of all of our bordering states, the states that border Illinois, I think all of them are playing in the fall. Have you been affected by any kids who decided to transfer out to go play in the fall, Coach Lynch?
No, not that I got a text from or a call from or anything, or that I heard from. Most of those kids that are leaving too, for example, JJ McCarthy leaving, I firmly believe he's leaving to graduate early. He's a top 300 ESPN recruit. Very rarely do you get those kids in your program. And we actually have a Ben Perry is going to play in the, he's committed to Louisville and is going to play in the All-American game. He's a top recruit. And I haven't heard anything from, last time we talked, but, those kids leave to graduate early. That's their main reason why they're leaving some of the schools. But very rarely do you have an athlete like that. And I know St. Rita, Coach Kuska, you guys got a pretty special running back and underclassman. We haven't, our kids, it's a tight-knit bond over at Mount Carmel. I'm sure it's, same thing over at St. Rita. And those kids are just, they're anxious. They're chomping at the bit to get back to with one another. And, they're anxious for March, that's for sure.
Yeah, I would agree. I think I have not heard from anybody, and I totally agree with the McCarthy kid transfer. And I think it was more or less, I want to graduate early and get to Michigan early or something like that. So I haven't heard that, and I think we do same thing. And Shawn, playing in the Catholic League, playing at St. Rita, and playing in Mount Carmel. You develop a bond with these guys, and they want to see their time through with each other. So I would be shocked if anybody else. And I read papers of guys. You had guys from NAS leaving, a guy from Montini and stuff.
Montini, that's right.
I would be shocked if anything happened like that from us here, because they want to play together, and I think that's something that high school kids, they're buddies. They want to play together. They want to be together, and they want to finish this together. It's been crazy, especially for us. Losing the state championship last year, our guys have a goal to stay together and win. And they want to be there for each other. So I haven't heard anything, and it's going to happen, I'm sure. But I'll be shocked if Indiana, is going to have a full season. We were scheduled to play Chesterton, Indiana, week 1, and we're scheduled to play Cardinal Ritter from Missouri week 2. I've already told those guys, obviously, that's not going to happen. And, the coach from Chesterton, Coach Peterson, I talked to him, and he said, well, we're scheduled to go, I believe they were supposed to start practice, this past Monday. And he said, I don't know if that's going to happen, so I'll be shocked if they actually get through the season. And, so I think the IHSA did it the right way by saying, hey, we don't think we're going to make it through Let's postpone it. Let's give these kids a fair shot. So I haven't heard from anybody thinking of transferring it, and I'd be shocked at it. It's a close-knit group that we've got as well as seniors, and they want to finish this thing through together.
Guys, we're joined by two Chicago Catholic League coaches of two powerhouse programs, Todd Kuska from St. Rita High School, my alma mater, currently the head coach, and Jordan Lynch, head coach at Mount Carmel, right here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago. So here's a question that's the big term, long-term, big picture. So you play in the springtime and everything's good. When does the 2021 season start? Do you guys play again in the fall? Will the young kids, and I know young kids can recover a lot quicker, but the turnaround time and the weightlifting time from the end of the season in the spring, if you pick up your season in the fall, that's literally playing 2 seasons within a 12-month span. What do you think? How do you think the 2021 season is going to play out?
Well, I'll go first here. I think it's no different than really spring ball in college and summer ball. And, you go back to the early, 70s and 80s when they had, spring football here in high school, and they were able to practice full go in pads. You hear the stories, and Shawn, I know you heard the stories of guys, killing each other in April and May, and then coming right back for more practice in full pads in June, doing that, and then coming back in August. So it's going to be different. It's going to be new to this generation of guys. But and I think us as coaches got to be a little smart on how we handle it. I don't know how the IHSA will do that with summer contact days. I would say if our season ends, in May, we don't necessarily need 20 contact days. Because the baseball season, the spring seasons are going to, summer seasons, however they're calling them, aren't finished until June 26th. So you can't really have things going on during that time. So they're not going to try and give us, 20 days in a month of July and then break for 2 weeks, come back in August. I think there'll be some limitations, which rightfully so. We don't want to abuse the kids that way, but I think it'll be different. But hey, all these guys are going to be used to changing. So, now is the time to just go ahead and get back on track, or maybe they flip the seasons forever. Who knows? But I don't think it would be that big of a difference once we get going on it. Just a little adjustment from the coaching end.
Coach Lynch?
Yeah, I totally agree. I think when it comes down to it, I think the IHSA will do a good job on what we can and can't do. The big thing is just keeping the kids healthy and fresh and not wearing them out. But once again, the kids are young too, so they'll recover quick.
Youth is wasted on the young. That's what they tell me.
That's right. We're such a senior heavy driven team this year, so in the off season, all those kids will be gone. So give a lot of new kids some opportunities. So those kids should be fresh for that spring season. That's for sure.
So Jordan, so since you said, and this was going to be my next question, but since you broached that you're a very senior laden team, how's that going to work? Because, we start training, you and I, you and Todd have started training in January. All right. Season's over unless you're playing another sport. Okay, you start training in January, and then my senior year, between my junior and senior year, because I didn't play much my junior year behind Brian Petrowski, who was like literally a snowplow. Anything in his way he took. So I literally lived in the weight room. I was the last person in the weight room every day, right, with Coach Angston, and then he was gone, and then it was just me. How these juniors, how's that going to affect your team? And then Jordan, you start, and then Coach Kuska finish after. How's it going to affect the team? Because you can't get bigger, stronger, fast. Because first you got to recover. And then you have to lift, once you're healthy. How much of an impact do you think that's going to be for your 2021 season if those juniors can't get as big and strong as fast as they could be without that complete off season?
Right. Well, they're going to have to almost treat their off season, that off season you're talking about in, September, October. We're going to get together. We call it Caravan Tough. And that's where they're going to have to put a lot of work in. We do, 3 days a week, and we go at, I want to say 5:30, 6 a.m. And they're going to have to put a lot of work in there. Then during the season, we have our strength coach is Joe Kubik. He's been there forever. He does a really good job. And, he's going to have those kids ready. We're going to do a good job in the weight room, good job conditioning, agility, and make sure those kids have every, single resource that they have nutrition-wise also to make sure those guys are ready to go for the, 2021 season.
Yeah, I agree. We're going to have to take this off season that we have coming up and treat it as that off season going into the next year as well. Our strength guy, Coach John Griffin, does a fantastic job too. We've just got to transition them now into getting bigger, faster, stronger while we're getting into those fall practice days, and then get back in the weight room when we can until February. Once we're done with the season, we might have to play around with the physicality of any type of practices that we have and go more of a mental approach, for the time being until we get back into doubles in August. But it's going to be different. But as you said, these kids are young, they're resilient. They'll bounce back, they'll bounce through it. We just got to make sure we lead them in the right ways and do it safely and in the proper way. And they'll be okay. They'll be okay. Like I said, college football, you go through spring practices, then it comes summer practices, so people are doing it now. It's just going to be new for the high school age kids, and we'll be kind of infringing upon some of the other sports stuff and travel ball and things like that. And it'll be tough, but as coaches, we've been navigating a lot of tough things for the last few years with the blow up of all these travel sports and baseball and lacrosse and volleyball and who knows, there's travel everything nowadays. So, but we'll get through it and keep the kids safe and just it's an off season right now. Treat it as that.
Guys, he's Jordan Lynch with Mount Carmel. He's the head football coach, and this is Todd Kuska, my former teammate. He is the head coach at St. Rita High School. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. That was a great stuff, and I know a lot of people were interested and wanted to hear that. So good stuff, guys. I really appreciate your time this morning.
Thanks, Shawn.
Yeah,
thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks, Shawn.
Hey, no problem. Guys, Todd Kuska, St. Rita High School, Jordan Lynch, Mount Carmel High School. They have a lot of it's a very interesting time because you know what? It doesn't matter if you've been in the game like Coach Kuska's been there for a while, or you're a new coach like Jordan Lynch. You're dealing with a situation that you've never dealt with. And the one good thing about it is that you are young and resilient, and youth is wasted on the young, and so it's just, again, for me, once that football season's over, because you when you lift in the season, it's to maintain. It's not to get bigger, stronger, faster. It's to maintain. Right. And so then you don't have the full off season. That's why I asked them about the 2021 season, like especially the juniors now who are going to be seniors and the leaders next year. Are you going to be as strong? Because I know for me, remember, I wasn't highly recruited. Like I wasn't looked at after my junior year at all, because I got probably 20 snaps, 50 snaps the whole season because I played behind a much bigger fullback. And that's where I made my living in the weight room. And had I not had that opportunity, who knows, where I would have been able to go or how good my senior season would have been. So it's just it's a different time. It wasn't just, I didn't have to deal with COVID. These kids do, so it's just a different thing. And they, as both coaches said, they've got good strength coaches to get those kids, the best they can. And then don't forget now, back when, when we were in school, nutrition wasn't as big an issue as.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's so many variables there. I'm listening to like strength coaches and nutrition and all this stuff that obviously younger kids have access to. The knowledge,
potatoes,
right? The knowledge base is different. So it's. I mean, I don't think it's that they can be prepared. I mean, but like I think you started out by saying one of the biggest haggling points is they are technically student athletes, and as goes the school. Goes sports. And that's going to be the thing that's going to be difficult in trying to navigate this is if the school has to say no one can come to class,
Right. So they're still I know they're still going to be able to work out, but, social distancing, obviously, is going to be the issue. Because they're starting in school now. See, the CPS is going, they're going to be remote learning to start off.
Right. Because they have a different choice to do things. So, it'll be interesting. But yeah.
No, they want their money. Let's keep it real. Catholic Church wants that money. F you, pay me.
This whole not coming to mass. My what do you call it? I forgot. What do you call it? Some people call it tithing, but But it's something. It's a different word we use.
Yeah.
I'm just drawing. This goes to how much I'm not active anymore. There's a different term we use.
The Catholic Church. Yeah, I can't think of it now.
God, not collection. It's anyways, it'll kind of be down the road. But yeah, so it'll be interesting. I know this is emotionally and mentally hard on students, period. Even if they're not athletes. So now you layer that other concern on top of it, and it's even more complicated. So for as much as people are focusing on their physical health, I hope they're also working with a lot of these young men on their mental and emotional health as well, because that piece often tends to get swept under the rug. Like, no one talks about feelings. There's no crying in baseball, and people forget that often.
Maya.
What?
Maya, these are two boys schools. These are two boys schools. They ain't talking about feelings.
Okay.
I'm just saying. I'm not saying that they shouldn't. I'm just saying they're not.
I know. Trust me. I went to the whole. I get it, but I'm just saying this is a different generation of people, and they're not made.
This is true.
From the mental and emotional resolve that when we were told to suck it up and get it together, we're like, okay, fine. You tell kids today, suck up. Oh, I got it. They fall apart. So I'm
calling my dad.
He just told me to get it together. Texting each other. They don't have the same emotional and mental resolve. So they may have more resources and tools in regards to how to be better athletes. Mm-hmm. But look at all the issues and problems we've seen that comes more from discipline, mental focus, not talent.
Toughness. Yeah. Oh no, not talent.
Yeah.
They're far more talented than we were.
One great thing it would be a sweeping idea for people to put into their programming is how to help kids prepare for what could be next. Just a thought.
I'll tell you what. When you talk about, I'll tell you what. My senior year, it was a heat wave. I mean, you would remember this, but it was summer of '88, and it was a heat wave. So we had doubles.
Were you conceived yet? No, I'm just kidding.
Just missed it.
No.
So it was a heat wave, and so luckily the way the sun rises and sets, there was some shade by not the annex building, oh goodness, I can't remember where we had the radio class or the electronics class. Anyway, so we'd sit in the shade in between practice, and they would just hose us down like cattle. Literally, I crap you not. They would just hose us down, and we'd have our water bottles, and it wasn't the bottled water that we have nowadays. We'd have our
reusable,
reusable, our thermoses. Dads who, a lot of the kids, we grew up in the south side, in the southwest side. So you had, our hardworking parents. A lot of guys had those thermoses.
Yeah.
What we used to do is they do now is we the gallon of milk, the gallon jug, and put that in the fridge the night before.
The beginning of recycling.
Yeah. And so I'm telling you, we'd be sitting there laying on our backs drinking, and you just get showered with water from Coach Angston. He would just hose us down like cattle, and it was insane.
Oh well, I don't think it's a bad thing. You try to keep it cool. I mean, what? But see, now kids will be sensitive. He sprayed water at me.
I'm allergic to water. What? I have water allergies.
You messed with my hair gel. Anyways. Don't we have a break? We have a break somewhere here, right?
We do. On the other side of the break, we have more sports conversations, so don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago.
BoomerNaturals.com presents the Sports Flash on 1330 and 95.9 The Zone.
Deep fly ball to left. This ball's got a chance. Long gone. Tape measure time for Wilson Contreras. Halfway up the bleachers in left center. His second of the year, and the Cubs now lead by a score of 5-2.
Cubs radio with the call. Wilson Contreras with the blast. 5-4, the win over the Royals. The White Sox beat Milwaukee 3-2. Lucas Giolito, 9 strikeouts over 6 innings. He gave up 2 runs on 4 hits. Jose Abreu singled home the winning run in the 7th. NHL qualifying round action continues tonight. The Blackhawks take on the Oilers. The series tied at 1 game apiece in the best of 5. It's a 9:30 Central puck drop on NBCSN. Boomer Naturals, your source for 3-layer protective face masks. Breathable protection for adults and kids. Save 20% with promo code SPORTS at BoomerNaturals.com. Chuck Sanders, that's the Sports Flash, 1330 95.9 The Zone.
O'Reilly Auto Parts can help make your auto maintenance easier. So when your car isn't stopping like it used to, our professional parts people will help you find the brake parts and supplies to do the job right the first time. Right now, get 15% off a set of brake vest pads and 2 rotors, plus O'Reilly Brake Cleaner, 2 for $5. Stop by or visit O'ReillyAuto.com today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Have you wanted to speak a new language, but thought it would be too difficult? Then try Babbel. Babbel starts by teaching you words and phrases that gradually get more complex. Soon, you're practicing short conversations. So in 15 minutes a day, you'll be speaking a new language in a few weeks. Babbel is built around real life. It teaches you practical conversations that you will actually use. Babbel, language for life. Now try Babbel for free. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a language today. That's BABBEL.com.
Hey guys, it's your boy, the Superback Shawn Sierra, and I want to talk to you about my good friends over at the Hispanic Business Network, Carmen and Rogelio. They're having their annual golf outing on Friday, August 7th at Carriage Greens Country Club in Darien. The proceeds benefit Hispanic Business Network Scholarship Fund for first-generation college students. Now, you've already been on the course many a time this year, so your clubs are ready to golf for a good cause. And by the look of it, it sounds like you're going to call in sick on Friday, August 7th. So listen, to register your foursome, go to the website, hbn-chicago.com. Or if you'd just like to donate, go to the website, again, hbn-chicago.com, and click on the donate button. Plus, Shawn and Maya will be broadcasting live from the Carriage Greens Country Club for the event, where we'll have surprise celebrity guests throughout the show. So listen, make plans to attend the Hispanic Business Network annual golf outing on Friday, August 7th at Carriage Greens Country Club in Darien. So to register your foursome or to just donate, go to hbn-chicago.com. Once again, hbn-chicago.com. So don't meet us there, beat us there.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago and his Hump Day edition. Man, I'm telling you, I am so fired up about Friday being out at Carriage Greens Country Clubs out in Darien. We're going to do the show from out there.
It's going to be
about 85. It's a little warm for Maya because she's at home, but 85 is nice.
It's outside. What the hell? What are you talking about? It's outside. It's 85 degrees for 3 hours. What are you talking about?
Well, it won't be 85 at 9 in the morning. So It won't be. So by the time we get off, it'll be pretty close. It'll be low to mid 80s by the time we get off the air at 12. So it'll be cool. You know, low high 70s is fine. Low 80s, 80, 81s, even that's okay. But I mean, you know, plus we got to go scout the location anyways. You know, hey, you could be inside. You know, we bring a laptop. You could be inside. I'll be outside with the trees and the greenery behind me. You know what I'm saying?
Like somehow Maya's inside.
Maya, why are you in the clubhouse? Because it's cool.
Like Sean's out there, and Sean's out there sweating bullets. Like, oh my god! Like,
I'm like, can you Tito's vodka? Come here.
That's the last thing you need to be drinking if you're hot.
With ice.
Yeah, okay. With ice. Okay. Your birthday is over. Okay. Your birthday is over.
Yeah, it was. It is over. Thank goodness.
Are you one of those people who try to do you try to do like a 30-day window?
No, some people are like that. My birthday month, no. It's my birthday weekend. That's it. I'll just do my birthday weekend. Next year might be a birthday month because that's the big 5-0. 5-0, but.
Ooh-wee.
Pinche viejo este hombre.
AARP eligible. AARP eligible, man.
Dude, man, so, you know, a lot of my friends, you know, my high school friends, obviously, so we're all born in the same year. So it's going to be it'll be a lot of parties going on. A lot of parties getting over to 10 o'clock at night.
Look.
Because it's past their bedtime.
Did we talk about the best invention that came along ever was the day party? Because by the time it's over, I'm done.
You did mention that, yeah.
Day parties are like the best thing I ever thought of. It's during the day. You know, they start like, you know, whatever time, and they're usually done by 7, 8, if that late. You know what I'm saying?
See, but here's the one thing, because that'll probably be like the last crazy party, and you know, once in a while I might get, you know, go out. But like I for my birthday, like I want to go like my guy, Adrian. He's one of the bosses.
Adrian.
Yo, Adrian. You know what's really funny? So when he works. He's behind the bar, and Raquel works the floor. So it's Adrian and Rocky.
Perfect.
I crap you not. Yeah, like Adrian. And I'm like, all right, Rocco. But anyway, so he's got a plug. He's got He got hooked up with these people.
Really? Okay.
He's got a plug, and he usually goes. So he'll sleep all day when he on Friday or Saturday night. Well, Saturday night. So it's time for a shift, and then he'll go to work, and then he'll go out till 7, 8 in the morning. We went out. I'm telling you, that's for that 50th. I'm telling you, I'm gonna sleep all day. Whatever party I decide to have and do, I'm gonna do it. But I'm like, all right, Adrian, let's get it cracking. And we got out of there about 8 o'clock in the morning. It was crazy, crazy. And I guess you got to go out with a bang. I'll not go out. It's not like I'm dying.
What the hell? Just transitioning over to another decade of, aging. You know what? I'm so like over the idea of like parties and stuff for birthdays.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I turn 50, I'm literally like, I'm going to be either like in San Tropez. I'm going to be in Dubai. I'm going to be in someplace like that. I'm being on vacation. I don't need a lot of people around me necessarily. It's like, because when you get old, you don't like dealing with people. So it's like, you know what? So I'm gonna be someplace like doing a big vacation, like Maya in Greece. I don't know.
That's not a bad idea, Maya. That'd be good. I could see you. I could easily see you decked out in your all white outfit.
I hate that. You know, that's one of the things that I really hate. I hate all white parties. It just
it's a white party. It's white Maya. You know, a white Maya with a white outfit. Like everybody, like you need to see me. It's my birthday, okay?
No, it's because it's called white outfit stain. Because Maya is a klutz when it comes to certain things. Like I am. If there's a movie that can describe my personality, either I'm very coordinated. In some ways, I'm very like miscongeniality. So with that being said, when it comes to stuff like that, I'm very miscongeniality. Seriously. So that white outfit's gonna have something like plopped on it that's wrong. So like I avoid that. At the fact that I had to go through Catholic schooling all those years and not spill things on shirts.
You're making up for it now?
Now it's like just pour it on there.
That's hilarious.
Dude, wearing them stupid Peter Pan collar shirts all those years. Anyways.
So what you gotta do is that you guys gotta mark off July 24th. It's gonna be a Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because my birthday falls on a Sunday next year.
Mm-hmm.
So that July 24th, okay, that's the day. That's the day. So I'm telling you, you sleep until 6, 7 o'clock at night, 8 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock at night. Okay, get ready. It's about to get cracking. It's gonna be cracking. I got a little less than a year to decide what type of party and where I'm gonna have it, but it's gonna be cracking.
You know, it's interesting because usually, like, I'm back in by the time my 50th birthday cycles around, if everything stays the same, my birthday will be on the Super Bowl again. So I've been fortunate a couple years. I've kind of like straddled it really nicely. But for that year, if nothing changes as we know it, but I don't care about that unless it's in a really great city or something. But no, I want to be abroad. I want to be doing something. I don't know.
Is that going to be Vegas? The Vegas Super Bowl? Aren't they having it that year? Next year?
I think it might.
I'm not 50 next year.
No, next the following season. Yeah, me. That's me. I'm 50 next year.
You 50 next year? That's not me. I still got steak in 40s. So still got some steak in 40s. But yeah. Anyways, but I don't know how your friend, I don't know how he stays up late. I can't. I hate to tell you this. If I'm not out the house by like 7 or 8, the chances of me leaving the couch, all of a sudden I started finding excuses like, I don't think I want to go no way. And then I just started more excuses to not leave
yourself.
To leave the house.
There's a meteor that was supposed to hit this today, so I think I'd rather just stay home. Yeah,
I'm just so relaxed. But the thing is, people tell you about this pattern of behavior when you're younger, and you just believe that it's not true.
You don't believe them at all.
You don't believe them until you get there, and then you're like, man. Just like, for instance, I now understand why people in my age group and older did not like teenagers. I have the same sentiment. I totally get why they don't like them now. I was like, back then you're like, I don't understand why they don't like us. Now I'm like, oh my God, do I understand why? And maybe I'm being biased, but I personally feel kids today are nothing like kids when I was growing up because we were respectful and had manners to a degree. Kids now are like off the chain. They think they can talk to every adult as if they're equals.
I will kick a kid now.
Seriously. When it comes to teens, like two things, I have to be out the house by 7 if I'm trying to go someplace, and I don't like teenagers. Okay. So I'm officially falling into the old woman mode. Seriously, all I need next is just one more cat, and I'm like, trifecta.
and I need you to hold the cat. Get off my lawn!
No. All I need is like, one more cat, and I'm gonna start hitting that trifecta. The person who has too many cats. So.
Yeah, because the only people who have cats are old ladies and villains. So.
That might be a little inside my personality in some place. So but yes. Anyways, how do we start talking about kids and needing to be they need motivational talks? We were talking about that. I'm like, how do we start talking about this and birthdays and strange things? But yeah, I'm glad to hear you don't celebrate your birthday for a month. I'm like, I'm a one-day person. Unless someone's like, can we do something a different day? I don't need like a whole month to celebrate one day. That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
But everybody has what they like, so it's it's your thing.
Yeah.
Do what
so
you
you'll get people that be like, okay, it's my birthday month, so anyone want to take me out to eat? Like, okay, good. There's McDonald's. You know what? No, I'll take it output. I'll get you 10 wings. There you go.
Let's be honest. At a certain point with birthdays and your friends, it's not like I'm going to really buy you anything because we've been friends for a long time, and I probably have bought you a ton of things. And what do you really need me to buy you besides a drink? I mean, really.
I saved you when you were about to get your ass kicked by those guys in high school, right? I'm done buying you.
Yeah, I feel like I've already covered my quota of things I should be doing for my friends on their birthdays. So it's kind of like, hey, do you want to go out? I'm like, cool. Do you want to go to dinner? Okay. That's about it. But the actual and then I feel like a heel, like if they have a party and then somebody shows up with a gift, I'm like, who's a show off?
You always gotta have one.
Like
you always gotta have one.
Who's a loser who bought the balloons like you're 5? And I'm like that best friend and bridesmaid, like just ruin it. Like, so who's a loser who bought the balloons like you're 5 years old? And who brought a gift like you need something? Really? We're just all here to drink. Why did you bring a gift?
We know who the kiss asses are. Okay, we know who that is.
You know why I'm here. You know why I'm here.
And then you're like, oh yeah, I forgot your gift on the table. I'll give it to you next time I see you. Yeah, no. Anyways, no gifts. Gift giving stops like over 35. I probably was still giving gifts at 35. But at that point, we're old school.
It's more dinner. You're right. It's dinner. Let's go grab a couple drinks.
Mm-hmm. That's usually what it is. Yeah, you
shoot the spit. We'll whatever. But not okay. I took my time out.
I'll tell you something. Real talk. It was my friend's birthday, and we went to a winery for her birthday. It might have been cheaper just to buy a gift. If you want to know the truth.
Oh, most likely. As you get older, like, oh, you got some money now. Let's go do this. Let's go do that. Let's go do this. Like,
your place for dinner get a bit more elaborate, so to speak.
Yes.
Sometimes the gift might have been the cheaper route to tell you the truth. But luckily for me, I only have like 2 friends, so. I've been excommunicated by everyone at this point for my poor behavior. So,
I see how you can.
I'm for real. I'm serious. I've been excommunicated. I'm serious. I've been excommunicated. And I was like, okay, I'm okay with that.
You're like John Wick.
I'm excommunicado. That's right. And by the way, I'm not using my coin to deal with you.
Put it this way, I still love getting gifts. It was great.
Of course. So, yeah, of course you do. Of course you do. That's the only child in you. I'm the only child too, but still. I'm okay with no gifts at this point in life.
No, me too. Me too. It's more the experience, like I said.
If I'm dating you, then you better have a gift.
Oh, okay.
That's probably why I always get dumped on my birthday.
What if the gift's alcohol?
A lot of people do that. They'll like, here's a bottle of wine because people don't like wine. So I've had friends like, here's a bottle of wine. I've had that. That doesn't bother me because that's like something that I'll use.
Cat in one arm, wine glass in another.
One in the other.
I have a cup that I broke and I'm just devastated. It was a wine glass. Stemless wine glass, and it says you're never drinking alone as long as you have I think that's a new thing now. Stemless wine glasses.
Oh yeah, they're like they're little coasters.
Yeah, but for people like me, they'll knock the whole glass over because it's got a stem on it. No, but the glass says you never drink alone when you have a cat. I broke it by accident. I was like, damn it.
Maya, you're out of control. That's why they call a little savage.
There is no secret about Maya and her love affair with cats. I mean, someone's like, oh, you like cats? I wouldn't know that because the cup on your show. I'm like, aren't you brilliant? Anyways.
What about the whole background?
I keep meaning to take this down, by the way. I don't know. I'm laughing because I had to mute the whole show today because my cats kept trying to, they was being full-fledged, very ghetto.
Really?
Was it Mortal Kombat back there?
Huh?
When you're running a cat fighting ring back there?
They start doing stuff in the background. And I'm like, okay.
I saw that. I'm like, why is she on mute?
Because they would walk by and be like, yeah, real loud and shit. And I was like, and I have a kitten who is really she's only 9 weeks old. So she's really vivacious. The other day she stepped on the table and tipped the bowl over and it made a bunch of noise. And I'm like, first of all, you're not supposed to be on the table.
Did you flick her nose too?
No, I use a water bottle.
Oh, okay.
I was at a baby shower on Shawn's birthday. Wait a minute. Why were you at a baby shower, Armando? I heard that's a new thing. Joint baby showers for men and women together. I've heard that.
Good. I'm good.
I'm good too. I don't want to go either, but
I'll be good.
I heard that though. That's a new thing. That have a baby shower and it's for men and women together, and the men go off and probably drink and do whatever they do, and then the women still do the baby shower stuff.
Actually, I think we did do that.
So you don't really participate fully in the baby shower.
No, I don't remember participating. I think we did it. We had a joint. We had a big. I wasn't in here. I think the Cubs were on or something like that.
You just saying we had a joint?
Well, I mean,
it's legal. I'm just saying.
You know what's funny about marijuana being legal is that there are some people who will always kind of be a little apprehensive to even talk about it because it's just personality type. And there's other people it's legal. So they're like, what? I can smoke. It's okay, fine.
I can smoke it like I drink. Yeah. So Junior Armando Lera's his boys.
Oh,
he's gonna be a grandpa.
Congratulations! You just aged even quicker. No, I'm just kidding.
Dang.
Oh, he's actually older than me. He's a good buddy of mine.
So you were already over the hill. Okay.
Yeah, one of my former teammates.
Yes, he is. He talked about when he was 18. He was having his glory day moment. I'll put it back up. There you go. How he played college football in the fall, played a championship in December, and started playing in the spring season that started February. And I recovered from the fall season. It's possible physically, but can you do it now?
Oh no, he's 53.
Hey, he's not ashamed. He put his age up there. You go. That has to be the new movement. People should stop being ashamed of how old they are. I'm serious.
Oh yeah, I'm not ashamed.
I'm
not ashamed.
People always get they're like, oh my God, don't say your age. I'm like, I don't care that I'm 48. I said, I don't feel like I look 48, and I don't feel whatever 48 feels like. I have no idea. I said, but I think that's a state of mind. For instance, I don't mind having a wrinkle. Some people I have a friend who went out and spent $600 for one treatment to remove the lines from her face that she barely had.
Her laugh lines?
Yeah, how you start to get that little
the laugh lines.
Mind you, you wouldn't even have known they were there. I said, so you gave somebody $600 just to make you feel better?
So let me ask you this question first and foremost: was it a person of color?
Yes, it was. That was a thing. That was the thing.
Wow.
That was the thing. But she was talking to some people who are media people who were because I know there is a pressure when people are in front of camera. See, I'm one of those people I still wouldn't care. They feel like I have to look. For women, I know there's that pressure to not age necessarily. I was like, but I'm not giving you $600. These lines are gonna be here. It helps my forehead kind of reduce a little bit too. Those lines actually make my forehead smaller.
Because it goes horizontal, so it takes away from the.
Growing old can be graceful if people let it. You know what I mean?
Well, no, I fight it every step of the way, Maya. I am. I'm not gonna bull jive you.
What do you mean you fight? How do you fight it?
One, moisturize. Shower and moisturize. I'm telling you, you call me whatever you want. I put lotion on.
Are you gonna be ashy?
Well, yeah, I do, but because of that. But no, I'm for real. It's So I'm definitely take care of my skin.
Ashy, people probably barely notice.
No, if I was ashy, you could tell. Especially now that I'm darker. Yeah, but you can always tell when I'm ashy. Yeah. But no, you talk about lotion. You talk about I stay out of the sun as much as I possibly. And so when I am in the sun, like I've been this summer, man, I'm putting vitamin E. So I have this vitamin E gel. You put all over everywhere just to re-moisturize your skin. The aloe gel, that type of stuff. Man, I'll take in the shower. So when I'm done taking a shower, after my pores are open, I turn the water cold to tighten your skin. and it's like, you know what it's like.
I bet that's like a whoa.
Yeah, you know.
I was in the pool.
Seriously,
Hey,
that's why they're in my stomach.
Okay, to me that's taking. Here's the thing, that's taking care of yourself. So I don't feel that's being extra. We've learned there's better things we can do to take, because your skin is like your largest organ on your body. So hydration and stuff like that is perfectly normal. You know what I mean? Water. You know what? Shawn got me sold on the whole like alkaline water thing. And I drink it regularly, and I've told other people, and they're like, at first I thought you were lying, but when I work out, like people are like, this is crazy that this actually works. But hydration is a big thing. Your skin needs hydration.
Yeah.
To me, that's not, I mean, when I say growing gracefully, to me, doing things like that to take care of yourself, I mean, when people go the extreme measures, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
That's
what I'm CrossFit, because I do CrossFit with Jordan. That's how I met him.
Oh, okay.
We go to CrossFit, yeah.
Okay.
We go to CrossFit at the same place. Well, he's a freaking stupid athlete, dude. I mean, he's 27, 28. This guy is a freaking. So they give us a time cap for some of the.
He's supposed to be freaking like in shape.
Yeah, I know. I remember when I was 27, 28. Dude, they give us a time cap, and it's like, it's between 8 and 12 minutes. He gets done like 6:50. Dude, what the fuck? What? How are you 6:50? You're not even supposed to be done until 8 minutes, and he's done his like 6:50. Dude, the kid is a freaking monster, dude. As far as athletic, and I remember it. I remember them days. I remember, and it's like,
you know what? You know what's interesting, and I think it happens in your 40s. And we've just totally talked this whole segment away. But anyways, it's real life talk. You know what's interesting is it takes a while to reconcile in your mind that you're physically not the same person. Like you remember all the things that you could do when you're working out, and then it takes a while when you're like, I legitimately can't do that anymore. And it's not like you not do it, but you can't do it to the level that you used to do it. Like I run outside. I was never a runner. And I understand. I'm like, you know what? I think it's a little late in life in that, because it's killing my freaking knees. I was like, who does this and why? I was like, 'cause I think it's awful for your knees running. Yeah. Like
it's the worst.
It's I'm like
exercise ever.
So people who like do it like lifelong, like I rotated in my workout. Like I don't do it every day, but I was like, I'm going to need knee replacements if I keep doing this. Because it's really harsh. But it took me being in my mid 40s to be able to say, I won't be doing that anymore, because that flexibility no longer exists. And I mean that purely in an exercise manner. FYI. Just for you fellas who just had a tangent that just went through. Sometimes I forget who I'm talking to. So
you shouldn't, because
Exactly. That's what I said. I'm talking about my exercise level, that I cannot do the things that I used to be able to do. I'm not referring to anything else different. You know what? Aren't we wrapping the show up?
Oh man, guys, we do got to get going. But listen, I want to thank my guest, Joseph Phillips, for joining us as he does every day from the Chicago Crusader and our top of the morning segment. Thank you very much. John Dietz, our good buddy from the Daily Herald, who covers the Hawks. Robert Schmitz from Windy City Gridiron, who's up in Indiana as opposed to Texas, and he's loving this cool weather. He's liking it a lot. Thank you very much. And finally, Todd Kuska, the head coach of St. Rita High School, and Jordan Lynch, the head coach of Mount Carmel High School. Gentlemen, thank you guys for calling in. You guys have made this a phenomenal show. So we're going to take a 40, and we're going to come back to you from the Carriage Greens Country Club in Darien Hills on the other side of that break. So we'll see you on Friday. So for my Puerto Rican Swiss Army knife himself, Ivan Vargas.
So which jersey are we picking for Maya? Sosa? Sosa? Are we picking Sosa? Fukudome?
Yes, Fukudome.
Fukudome. I like it.
Because you know what his name spells, right? Fukudome. Yes.
I can still rock. That's right. Fukudome. Yes. How about that? Yes. But I'm not going to be wearing the jerseys. I ain't worried about it. I can't wait to deal with you two clowns on this.
Well, listen, I also want to say thank you to our social media guy, Clarence Council. Who is a posting freak. He keeps us, man, you see all them things that are on the app? That's Clarence. I want to thank our technical producer, Elliot Baez, for his work. And then, of course, we've already thanked him, but we'll thank him again, our Puerto Rican Swiss Army knife, Ivan Vargas. So we got a 46-hour break. We'll see you from Darien, Illinois, the Carriage Greens Country Clubs, next time you see us. So until then, we have 2 words for you.
Now I have 3. Download app.
Do it.